as if he already saw the scene of the useless Baron Zhao being killed. By the way, during school holidays, Zhao's brother and sister should have come back with Sasa, but they haven't arrived yet. Could they have discovered Bao and Chui's plans? Mother Zhang muttered nearby. Sasa said, according to our information, Zhao and his sister went to the Arctic Fox star system. The message is that his starship, Zero Storm, is being repaired at the Arctic Fox starport. But they will come back during this holiday, though no specific time has been given. At this moment, a man who looked like a butler approached the dining table and whispered a few words to Old Master Jiang. Old Master Jiang looked at his family. The latest news is that our Baron has left Arctic Fox starport and is heading back to the Xianglong star system. He is expected to arrive in 2 weeks. After a short stay, he plans to return to the Northern Star Starship Military Academy. That means the Bao and Chui families can finally breathe a sigh of relief, Father Jiang said excitedly. Old Master Jiang squinted at his restless son. Remember, this time our Jiang family must stay low-key. No one is allowed to interfere. Call back all direct family members to avoid trouble for us. Yes, Father, Jiang replied. 2 weeks later, in mid-September, 2 starships crossed the vast boundary of the star system. Starship Zero Storm's AI system reports. The ship has exited warp speed and arrived at the designated location, now in autopilot mode. Zhaochen suddenly opened his eyes. Compared to the last warp jump, he felt much more alert now. This must be because he was injected with the T1 super soldier serum. The hatch of the sleep pod opened, and although he had been soaking in blue liquid earlier, his clothes had now dried automatically. He stepped out of the sleep pod, his legs steady and his mind clear. Captain. The recently awakened half-orc female crew member looked at the now-awake captain in surprise and noticed that his mental state was very good. Just a moment ago, she had seen him trembling in his legs right after waking up. Usually, it takes at least 3 months to fully get used to a military sleep pod. Let's start working, Zhaochen said calmly. He also began his tasks now. With Charlotte absent, many things had to be handled personally, so he started giving orders. All personnel on the bridge, return to your stations within 1 minute and check the ship's data. All personnel on the starship, return to your stations within 3 minutes and stay ready. Communications Department, try to contact the T2 Queen B-class heavy carrier starship. Starship radar, scan the surrounding star area to see if you can find the T2 Queen B. Just as Zhao Chun issued these commands, a video window appeared, showing a request for communication from the T2 Queen B bridge. Zhao Chun accepted the call. On the screen was the bridge of the T2 Queen B-class heavy carrier starship. Have you arrived? Zhao Chun looked at Charlotte and Zhao Wanner, who didn't seem freshly awakened. Zhao Wanner replied, we arrived half a day earlier than you. Charlotte added, if it weren't for matching the speed of Zero Storm, with the T2 Queen B's level 4 warp engine, we could have arrived 5 days earlier. Zero Storm uses a level 3 warp engine, while the T2 Queen B uses a level 4 warp engine, which makes a big difference in speed during warp travel. As Charlotte said, if the T2 Queen B hadn't set its speed to match Zero Storm, they would have already reached the Dragon Star system. I contacted Jiang Hong. She's very anxious about our reckless action and repeatedly emphasized that we should leave as soon as possible, Zhao Wanner mentioned. Zhao Chen asked, did Jiang Hong share any other useful information? Zhao Wanner transmitted a star map. Based on the intelligence obtained by Jiang Hong, the Bao family and Chui family plan to attack us at this location. Zhao Chen looked at the star map of the Xiaolong galaxy. The attack point is on the main route to the planet where Zhao's family is located, and the calculation has precisely predicted where the ship will finish its warp travel early. The Bao and Chui families have made their plans. If their attack succeeds, they will immediately launch on our home planet and eliminate all Zhao family heirs. Zhao Wanner said angrily, our Zhao family has truly raised a bunch of ungrateful traitors. She continued, Jiang Hong also gave me the starship models of the interstellar pirate fleet, as well as the private fleet starship models of the Chui and Bao families. Send me both sets of information, Zhao Chen ordered. As the saying goes, knowing yourself and your enemy ensures victory in every battle. Even though Zhao Chun felt confident, he knew he could never let his guard down. Soon, the 2 sets of information arrived in front of Zhao Chun. He looked at the data boxes, which not only listed the starship names and models, but also included images of the models, as these were common starships on the market. The interstellar pirate fleet has 35 starships, including 5 T2 ships, 1 T2 Grey Shark-class medium interstellar cruiser, 2 T2 Ishtar-class heavy interstellar destroyers, 2 T2 Ishkor-class medium interstellar frigates, and 30 T1 ships, 15 T1 Vulture-class medium interstellar frigates, 10 T1 Scimitar-class medium interstellar destroyers, 5 T1 Blue Jay-class medium interstellar cruisers. On the other side, the rebel aristocrats have only 16 starships, showing the fear and poverty in the Shalom galaxy. Among these 16 ships, 2 are T2 ships, a T2 Grey Wolf-class light interstellar cruiser and a T2 Hyena-class medium interstellar destroyer. The remaining 14 T1 ships are all T1 Vulture-class medium interstellar frigates. Looking at these ships, Zhao Chun couldn't help but smile. Most of these ships are older than he is. Even the relatively new T2 Hyena-class medium interstellar destroyer was bought secondhand by the Chui family head after decades of family savings. Regarding the starships used by interstellar pirates, most are common ships they frequently use. Performance-wise, I won't go into detail, but all are inexpensive and easy to repair. The most common among them is the T1 Raven-class medium starship. This ship was developed by the Starshine Empire over 2 centuries ago. Although it doesn't have strong combat power, it is cheap and easy to build. The Starshine Empire openly shared the technology for this starship, making it even cheaper on the market. It is popular among small nobles, interstellar pirates, and explorers. Based on the enemy ship's information we have, winning this battle is simple. The real question is where and how we should fight, Charlotte said. Zhao Chun stroked his chin thoughtfully. He looked at the star map of the Shalom galaxy and muttered, "We can't fight on their preset battlefield. Even if we win anywhere, it's better to minimize our losses. Plus, fighting near our home planet could risk damaging it." Suddenly, Zhao Chun had an idea. He squinted and pointed at a spot on the star map. "Why do we have to go find them? Let them come to us." Charlotte and Zhao Warner looked at where Zhao Chun was pointing and quickly understood his plan. Interstellar Pirate Fleet. Flagship. This is a T2 Grey Shark-class medium star cruiser. The scars and repairs on its hull show its long history. A big, bearded man reclines in the captain's chair, with his feet resting on the control panel in front of him. I've been waiting here for 2 months. If those guys weren't smart enough to send some women over, I wouldn't want to wait around. This grumpy remark is from the captain of this pirate fleet, who calls themselves the Three-Claw Serpent Pirates. Their ship bears a three-claw serpent emblem. At this moment, a skinny man walks out of a nearby room, adjusts his pants, and from behind him, the sounds of women begging and crying can be heard. These women are all as thin as bones, and after a few tricks, they're done. Not interesting. The noble young ladies are more fun to play with. I think we should just attack the nobles of this star system directly, the skinny guy said, not feeling satisfied. The bearded captain glanced at the skinny guy. He is his deputy. Although the fleet in this broken star system isn't strong, don't forget who asked us here. If we really attack this star system, we might end up in big trouble later. Just do the job and collect the payment without causing trouble, said the bearded captain. The deputy, scratching his nose, said, "We don't have to loot these planets, but we can negotiate for a higher fee. After all, our fleet has been waiting here for over 2 months." The bearded captain grinned mischievously and raised 3 fingers. "I've thought about that. When they ask us to act, we'll demand a 30% increase in our fee." The deputy gave a thumbs up. "That's why you're the boss. Always calculating." Just then, a communication request appeared. "Looks like we've got a job," the bearded captain said happily and opened the video call. On the screen, a middle-aged man appeared. "I recognize him. He is the leader of the Bao family from the Xionglong star system. Leader Bao, I was about to come find you. My brothers have been waiting here for over 2 months. Everyone is getting impatient," said the bearded captain, sounding a bit annoyed. Leader Bao replied seriously, "We send you women and supplies every month. That should be enough. Anyway, the target has appeared. But they just sent a message. They're changing their plans and won't return to their home planet. Instead, they'll stay on a planet called Longway at the edge of the star system for 1 day, then leave for the North Star Military Academy. So, We need to change our plan. You guys leave immediately and eliminate the target near Longway. They only have one starship, so I think you can handle it easily." The bearded captain tapped his foot and said, "Changing the plan is fine. Since we're in the same star system, it's only a few hours trip. But we've been waiting for over 2 months." He paused and added, "Leader Bao, you should know how much business we've missed during this time. You need to consider the costs. Otherwise, I won't be able to explain to my crew." The clan leader sensed the other side was trying to negotiate a better deal and silently cursed a group of space pirates. He didn't realize that these pirates usually didn't take on such jobs for more than a year or so. They often boasted about their achievements after just 2 months, which was a bit exaggerated. But right now, the most important thing was to deal with that useless baron. "Name your price," the clan leader said coldly. The bearded captain raised 3 fingers. "Increase the fee by 30%. No bargaining." The clan leader's mouth twitched, but he held back his anger. "Fine. Once the job is done, I'll send the payment." "Great. I like your straightforward style. Give us the coordinates, and my team will go and handle the baron," the bearded captain said seriously, lowering his foot. "I'll send the coordinates right away. Remember, once the mission is complete, send us a message immediately," the clan leader reminded him. "No problem. We're professionals at this," the captain replied confidently. Soon after, the captain received the coordinates. He immediately ordered his space pirate fleet to set out, confirm the coordinates, and switch to faster-than-light travel mode. Because of the T-1 starship's presence, they deliberately kept the fleet's speed lower to stay coordinated. The entire journey took about 6 hours. When the bearded captain woke up from his sleep pod, he quickly ordered preparations for battle and started searching for the target. Actually, there was no need to search because as soon as they activated their starship radar, they detected a lone starship hovering near the Dragon Tail star, waiting like prey for a hunter. "Captain, about 20 minutes away from us. That's our target, the Baron's Zero Storm," the slim deputy excitedly reported. The bearded captain sneered. "Let the game begin, Lord Baron." Meanwhile, the Baron on the Zero Storm finally received news of his prey. Suddenly, the Zero Storm snow ship started to move. It seemed to sense something and began heading in a different direction. "Boss, have we been spotted?" the skinny deputy officer asked. "At this distance, so what if we've been seen?" The usual tactic: send 2 T2 Ishkor-class medium starships to lead several T1 Vulture-class medium starships from both sides to flank them. At this range, stopping them will be easy, the bearded pirate captain confidently said. At this moment, the entire 3-claw snake star pirate fleet no longer tried to hide. They were rushing full speed after the Zero Storm snow. Among them, 2 T2 Ishkor-class ships and T1 Vulture-class ships were the fastest. Because starships of this type are the most agile among all ships, only some star cruisers can match their speed. Star cruisers rely on their high speed to form protective formations and intercept enemy ships. That's why star pirates love these cheap, easy-to-rob ships. They all rush in together, regardless of what kind of starship it is, just chasing and attacking fiercely. At this time, the Zero Storm snow might have also sensed something was wrong and started to speed up. But the starships of the 3-claw snake fleet seemed like sticky glue. They couldn't shake them off. The distance between them was getting smaller, and it looked like they would catch up soon. "Little cutie, trying to escape? The prey I've set my eyes on has never escaped before," the bearded pirate captain sneered. Just then, the communications officer shouted, "Report, boss. There's a communication request. It seems to be from the Zero Storm snow." The bearded pirate captain paused, then burst into loud laughter. "Looks like that useless baron is scared and wants to beg for mercy. Next, I want to see how a baron begs for his life before he dies." A video call connected, and a video window appeared in front of the pirate captain. A man's face appeared on the screen. But instead of the expected terrified, fearful expression, he saw a teasing look, as if he was playing with a toy. "Are you the leader of the 3-claw snake star pirate fleet?" the man asked calmly. This opening moment left the bearded pirate captain momentarily stunned, unsure if something was wrong with his approach. Why was this guy not afraid at all? "Do you know who I am?" the bearded pirate captain asked in surprise. "I know you're hired by the Bao family and the Chui family to attack us," Zhao Chen said, resting his chin on one hand. The bearded pirate captain spread his hands and smiled. Since Lord Baron already knows, there's no need to say more. We are just paid to do a job. Please, Lord Baron, go ahead and die quietly. Go die? Zhao Chen chuckled softly. Sorry, it's not me who will die, but you guys. We? Ha ha ha. You are such a useless Baron. You think you can send us to our deaths? The bearded pirate captain sneered, pressing Zhao Chen. What right do you have to send us to die? Just because of this broken starship of yours? Take a good look around you first, Zhao Chen said with a faint smile, eyes half closed. At that moment, the pirate crew on the radar shouted, something's wrong. A lot of energy signals are appearing around us, and they are approaching fast. Energy signals? Could they be starships? The bearded pirate captain looked at the radar, where hundreds of bright dots swarmed from all directions, heading straight for their interstellar pirate fleet. It doesn't seem like starships, more like interstellar fighters, the radar operator replied. The bearded pirate captain was surprised. He activated the deep space telescope and quickly identified what those dense dots really were. Interstellar drone swarms. Hundreds of drones had surrounded their three-claw snake pirate fleet. Meanwhile, the ongoing video communication continued. Zhao Chen, unhesitating, spoke loud enough for the pirate leader to hear. He coldly issued the attack order. Attack. Destroy all interstellar pirate ships. Not a single one left. One by one, the drones began locking onto their targets. The first to strike were 100 T2 Killer B-class medium interstellar drones. They were equipped with laser cannons, though their firepower couldn't compare to starship weapons. Fortunately, they can get close to the enemy ships to find the best position to attack. Most importantly, these are T2-level interstellar drones. Boss, it's bad. My starship has been hit by many interstellar drones. These drones are too fast. My close-in weapons can't stop them. Report. The bridge of the T1 Bald Eagle-class medium starship has been attacked, and the captain is dead. The ship has lost its command system. Report. The T1 Scythe-class medium starship is surrounded by enemy interstellar drones. Requesting support. Support needed. On the bridge of the bearded pirate captain, bad news kept coming. Hundreds of interstellar drones looked like a swarm, eating away at their starship. Counterattack. Counterattack. Form a fire net to intercept these drones. The bearded pirate captain ordered through clenched teeth. At this moment, a huge fireball appeared, and the shockwave even affected his flagship, with the sound of armor shaking loudly. That is, the bearded pirate captain was stunned. Our T2 Blue J-class medium star cruiser seems to have been bombed by enemy interstellar bombers. The starship was destroyed instantly, the crew pirate reported. Seeing the chaotic situation before him, the bearded pirate captain swallowed hard, unsure of what to do. Split into two groups immediately. One fleet continues to attack the No. 0 snowstorm, and the other highly mobile fleet searches for their carrier starship. Their carrier starship must be hiding nearby. If we destroy that carrier, these drones will no longer be a threat, the slim deputy officer suggested wisely. The bearded pirate captain reacted quickly and ordered, all interstellar destroyers stay here to continue chasing the No. 0 snowstorm. The remaining star cruisers and star frigates search at full speed for the enemy's carrier starship. Report. We have located the enemy's carrier starship coordinates. The drones that finished attacking are returning to this area. The carrier should be nearby. The radar pirate pointed to a spot on the star map. The returning drones showed no signs of hiding their movements. Under their starship radar scans, it was quickly discovered that on the back of a satellite, a carrier starship was lurking. The bearded pirate captain looked like he saw an enemy. He shouted hysterically, "Attack now. I wanted that carrier starship to pieces." T2 Queen B-class heavy carrier starship bridge report. The first squadron of interstellar drones has successfully returned and landed. It will take about 60 seconds to reload the ammunition. The combat report for the first batch of drones has been completed. 7 T2 Killer B-class medium interstellar drones were lost, and 1 T2 Big Hornet-class heavy interstellar drone. We destroyed 2 T1 Blue Sparrow-class medium interstellar cruisers, 4 T1 Vulture-class medium interstellar frigates, and 2 T1 Scythe-class medium interstellar destroyers. Report. The enemy fleet has detected our position and is rushing toward us at full speed. The female crew members on the bridge prepared carefully, constantly reporting updates to the captain and vice captain. Charlotte stood nearby, looking at Zhao Wan'er sitting in the captain's chair. Before this battle, Zhao Chun had secretly contacted her, instructing her to leave all combat commands to Zhao Wan'er during the fight. Unless Zhao Wan'er gave wrong orders, she could stop her. If the battle got out of control, she could take over command. So far, Zhao Wan'er's orders had been very good. The girl sitting in the captain's chair looked calm and emotionless, with no sign of panic or nervousness. She didn't look like a student who had just graduated, but like a seasoned professional soldier. Begin deploying T-2 Baby B-class light interstellar drones to intercept the enemy fleet. The starship starts moving at full speed toward the preset direction, and the star shield system activates. The reloaded interstellar drones are ready for the second attack. Zhao Wan'er issued the combat orders clearly, her eyes constantly scanning the data panel. Faced with the aggressive approaching pirate fleet, the T-2 Queen Bee accelerated to leave, but because it was a heavy carrier starship, its top speed was only 30 knots. It was impossible to escape from the pursuers behind. Meanwhile, the abdomen of the T-2 Queen Bee developed several holes, and then a series of lightweight T-2 juvenile star drones were launched. In less than 10 seconds, all 300 T-2 juvenile star drones had been deployed. The dense swarm of T-2 juvenile star drones began rushing toward the pursuing pirate fleet. At this point, the battlefield was split into two sides. One was the Zero Storm, and the other was the T-2 Queen Bee. However, the Zero Storm showed no intention of supporting the T-2 Queen Bee. Instead, it started to change its course, curving to the right. This put the Zero Storm within the enemy ship's fire range. Several pirate starships immediately prepared to fire, but their ships were moving too fast, and locking onto the target took a moment. Changing direction was Zhao Chen's order. Otherwise, with the Zero Storm's speed, these pirate ships would never catch up. Activate the T-2 Heavy 1200mm Devil Crocodile Cannon. Zhao Chun, the captain, ordered. Understood. Activating the T-2 Heavy 1200mm Devil Crocodile Cannon. It will take 10 seconds. 10. The bridge crew responded. At this moment, the main cannon at the front of the Zero Storm revealed itself. Shut down the right side starship engine, fully power the left side engine, and turn in place. Aim our main gun at the T-2 Ishtar-class Heavy Star Destroyer, Zhao Chen commanded. Right side engine shutdown complete. Left side engine fully powered up. The Zero Storm, which had been moving in a curve, suddenly performed a braking turn, turning its bow directly toward the pursuing pirate fleet. This sudden move caught the pirate ships completely off guard. Zhao Chen focused on the targeting window for the main gun. When the red targeting circle overlapped with the T-2 Ishtar-class Heavy Star Destroyer, he shouted sharply, "Fire!" In an instant, the entire Zero Storm trembled. Zhao Chen didn't bother to check the result of the shot. He immediately issued the next command: restart the right engine, and have the Zero Storm circle the enemy fleet at 70 knots, adopting a high-speed hunting mode. Understood. The female crew member confidently shouted, captain of the starship. The so-called maneuvering around the enemy fleet at high speed, hunting in a rapid, circling pattern, is a tactic. It involves a starship with a high speed crushing the enemy ships and then circling around them, keeping one or two enemy ships within firing range. This way, the starship avoids taking fire from the entire enemy fleet at once, greatly reducing the risk of being hit. This maneuver requires a high level of skill from the starship's helmsman. Fortunately, the Zero Storm's speed is extremely fast, giving it a clear advantage. The Zero Storm once again sped up, completing the maneuver in less than 10 seconds, showing how terrifying its agility is. At this moment, Zhao Chen finally had time to check the results of the previous shot. He was a bit surprised. Some others, however, were terrified. They saw that the entire front of the T-2 Ishtar-class starship had disappeared, leaving a huge explosion crater as if it had been beheaded. The nearby interstellar pirate ships witnessed the whole event. The starship they were chasing suddenly turned around, and then a main cannon attack followed. Unexpectedly, one of their only two T-2 Ishtar-class ships was hit directly and destroyed instantly. Remember, this was a heavy starship. Heavy means it has a larger body, stronger weapons, and thicker armor. Yet, this T-2 Ishtar-class heavy starship was destroyed with a single shot. That was a 1,200 caliber cannon. Suddenly, The captain of one of the pirate ships exclaimed over the shared communication channel. Other pirate captains used telescopes to check the situation. They saw clearly that at the front of the Zero Storm, there was a terrifying large cannon. It was this cannon that just destroyed the T-2 Ishtar. How can a T-2 starship be equipped with such a huge caliber cannon? What kind of monster starship is this? One captain of a T-1 Scythe-class medium starship shivered. Higher-level T-2 Ishtar-class ships cannot withstand this attack. The T-1 Scythe-class medium starship, which is one level below, is still a medium starship. If it could withstand one shot, the outcome would be different. One shot every 5 minutes. Let me count how many there are. 1, 2, 3. Zhao Qin chuckled menacingly, as if counting beans, while watching the enemy's starships. Report, boss. One of our T-2 Ishtar-class ships was destroyed by that Zero Storm, with just one shot. Just one shot. A panicked shout came through the internal communication channel. The bearded pirate captain's heart sank. One of his T-2 Ishtar-class heavy starship destroyers was destroyed. He knew that his fleet's 5 T-2 starships were his most valuable assets. Losing a T-1 starship didn't hurt much. He could buy another. But each T-2 starship was very expensive. He had saved for 5 years to buy that T-2 Ishtar-class from the black market. And now, it was gone in an instant? Don't joke with me. That's a T-2 Ishtar-class heavy starship destroyer. How could it be destroyed with just one shot? If you dare to lie, I swear I'll cut off your limbs and make them into wine bottles when I get back. The bearded pirate captain shouted angrily, refusing to believe such a fact. Boss, it's true. The enemy's Zero Storm has a 1,200 millimeters caliber cannon. Yes, 1,200 millimeters. My goodness, I've never seen such a huge caliber cannon in my life. The pirate captain's voice trembled. 1,200 millimeters caliber cannon? The bearded pirate captain's heart trembled. He knew his subordinate wasn't joking at this moment. That family of the Bao and Chui clans. These noble brats are fooling me. He now blamed everything on his employers, the Bao and Chui families, claiming their incomplete intelligence was to blame. This wasn't some useless baron. When I get back, if my commission isn't tripled, I'll attack their planet and humiliate their wife right in front of them. The bearded pirate captain cursed. Unfortunately, he would never get that chance again. During the chase of that carrier starship, the interstellar drones destroyed several of his T-1 starships, especially one type of T-2 interstellar bomber, whose bombs were as powerful as the main guns of a T-2 starship. They also targeted a specific spot repeatedly with their bombs. Usually, 3 T-2 interstellar bombers would attack together, combined with attacks from T-2 Killer B medium-sized interstellar drones, easily destroying a T-1 starship within minutes. Report, we have lost another T-1 Blue Sparrow medium-sized interstellar cruiser, a subordinate reported carefully. The bearded pirate captain clenched his fists. Report, we are within firing range. We can attack that carrier starship now. The subordinate announced good news. The bearded pirate captain immediately ordered, open fire. 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 Tear that carrier starship apart. The laser main cannon on the T-2 Gray Shark medium-sized starship locked onto the carrier starship and fired. Since the carrier starship was slow-moving, it couldn't dodge the laser shot. As the pirates waited for the starship to be hit, the laser hit a shield some distance from the carrier starship and exploded, dissipating. The carrier starship remained intact. The pirates were stunned. What's going on? The bearded pirate captain yelled, grabbing the pirate crew member responsible for the weapons module. I don't know. The crew member looked innocent. The slim deputy officer hesitated and said incredulously, Star Shield. The pirates around them reacted. It's a star shield. That scene just now was definitely a star shield. But how can a T-2 carrier starship have a star shield? Could it be a T-3 carrier starship? The bearded pirate captain, hearing the crew's discussion, shouted, Shut up. Then he looked at the slim deputy officer. Star shields are only on T-3 starships. This carrier starship definitely doesn't look like a T-3. Based on the size and combat power of the interstellar drones, it's definitely not a T-3 starship. But that shield just now was definitely a star shield. The skinny officer's forehead was covered in sweat. At this moment, the course of the space battle had gone beyond their expectations. So what do we do now? The bearded pirate captain asked. The star shield can only block attacks from one direction. So as long as our starships can attack from several other directions at the same time, the shield won't be able to hold, the skinny officer replied. The bearded pirate captain clenched his teeth, tasting blood in his mouth. He knew this was true, but after chasing for so long, losing several T-1 starships, they had finally caught up to the carrier ship's tail. If they tried to attack from the side now, what kind of cost would that require? Boss, we have no other choice now. If we retreat, will that Baron let us go? I understand now. He came prepared. He used his flagship to lure us in, then sent a swarm of drones to attack us. It's a trap, the skinny officer said. It's either you die or I die. This kind of situation was common for space pirates. In the past, they might have still had the will to fight. But today, they had 35 starships attacking just 2. And so far, they hadn't even touched the enemy's armor, yet nearly a third of their own ships had been lost. It was a huge to morale. Full speed ahead. No matter what, we must destroy that carrier ship. The bearded pirate captain gritted his teeth and said. They had reached a point where there was no way back. They could only fight to the end. Report. The side armor of T-1 Blue Sparrow class medium interstellar cruiser number 03 has been hit, with 50% remaining strength. Report. T-1 Bald Eagle class medium interstellar number 11 has been destroyed, with no survivors. Report. T-1 Bald Eagle class medium interstellar No. 19 has been heavily damaged, lost power, and cannot navigate. Report. T-2 Ishkor class medium interstellar has a 10-meter wide hole in its left side armor, with 23 compartments sealed off, 32 crew members dead, and the ship's power system damaged, causing speed to decrease. The chase lasted over half an hour. The T-2 Queen-class heavy carrier starship's interstellar drone launch and recovery system has been approaching 10 cycles on average, with over 30% losses. However, thanks to the excellent intercept capabilities of the T-2 Worker B-class light interstellar drones, the pursuing Star Pirates ships have been unable to attack the T-2 Queen from the side. The Star Shield continuously intercepts attacks from behind. My ship has been attacked. The Star Shield's remaining energy is 44%, reported the crew member on the bridge, as a shimmering wave of light appeared on the Star Shield. On the holographic projection in the bridge, Zhao Wanner could see the decreasing Star Shield energy number. It changed from green to yellow and was about to turn red. Despite this, Zhao Wanner remained calm. Report. An enemy ship, a T-2 Ishkor-class medium starship, has broken through our T-2 Worker B-class drone's interception and is approaching the right side of our ship. Meanwhile, the enemy fleet's flagship, a T-2 Grey Shark-class medium star cruiser, is still firing from behind us. If both ships attack simultaneously, our Star Shield cannot defend against attacks from 2 directions at once, the shield operator and ship captain reported. Zhao Wanner paused for a moment before sharply saying, "Deploy all interstellar drones to attack the T-2 Ishkor. Meanwhile, keep the Star Shield defending against the rear attack." Charlotte watched as Zhao Wanner issued the orders. This was the best course of action right now. First, try to handle one side of the attack. Even if the ship takes some hits, the overall situation won't be compromised. Report. Boss, my ship is now on the target's flank. Ready to fire. The captain of the T-2 Ishkor shouted. The bearded pirate captain roared wildly on the communication channel. Open fire. Open fire. Hit a big hole in that carrier starship. Yes. Prepare to fire. But at this moment, an astonishing scene unfolded. A starship sped rapidly to the side of the carrier starship, blocking the gap between the T-2 Ishkor and the T-2 Queen. At the same time, it charged straight toward the T-2 Ishkor from the front. That 1,200 mm cannon seemed to announce that something big was about to happen. The pirate captain of the T-2 Ishkor trembled in his chair and shouted in panic, "Fire now! Fire now!" The laser main gun on the T-2 Ishkor-class medium interstellar fired, its beam rushing straight toward the Zero snowstorm, which was blocking in front of the T-2 Queen B-class heavy carrier starship. Almost simultaneously, the 1,200 mm caliber cannon on the Zero snowstorm fired. A huge fireball appeared between the T-2 Ishkor and the Zero snowstorm, and the explosion created swirling rings of gas. Strangely, their attacks hit each other by coincidence. This was too much of a coincidence. Zhao Chun on the Zero Snowstorm knew that this was likely due to the system's fleet luck bonus, which increased the chance of such events. Even the previous shot that hit the T2 Ishta-class heavy starship was the same. The chances of these things happening were less than 1 in 10,000. But under the fleet luck bonus, the chances of such events happening were greatly increased. Zhao Chun tested it and found that not every attack would hit perfectly or be extremely effective, but the probability of success was very high. He immediately ordered, full speed ahead. Target the T2 Ishkor class medium interstellar. The Zero Snowstorm increased its speed instantly, reaching 100 knots in just a few seconds. Fire all 5 T2 medium howitzer lasers and 30 130mm T2 medium close defense guns. Relying on its high maneuverability, the Zero Snowstorm quickly closed in on the T2 Ishkor, and both ships' secondary guns opened fire with full force. However, the T2 Ishkor, moving at high speed, had a very low hit rate against the Zero Snowstorm. In contrast, the Zero Snowstorm's secondary and close defense guns almost always hit their targets. They kept attacking the T2 Ishkor's hull. As the hull was hit, a loud sounded in Zhao Chen's ears, and the deck of the bridge shook. Report. Our port side armor was hit. Remaining armor strength is 90%. Report. Our port side armor was hit. Remaining armor strength is 80%. Report. Our port side armor was hit. Remaining armor strength is 70%. This was probably the first time the Zero Storm had been attacked. Thanks to the armor of the interstellar battleship, it easily withstood the fire from a starship's secondary guns. On the other side, the T2 Ishkor-class medium starship was not so lucky. Its hull was damaged in many places and even had cracks. The T2 Ishkor had to wait for its main laser cannon to finish cooling before it could fight again. At this moment, Zhao Chen's eyes showed a cold glint. Behind the Zero Storm ship, 3 T2 Hornet-class heavy star drones suddenly appeared. 3 star torpedoes were launched very close to the T2 Ishkor ship. Because of the recent fierce battle with the Zero Storm, most of the T2 Ishkor's weapons were cooling down and couldn't stop the incoming drones. They could only watch as the 3 torpedoes hit the ship's bridge, the belly, and the left side where the secondary guns had attacked earlier. Explosive fireballs appeared around the T2 Ishkor, and soon the ship broke apart and was completely destroyed. Report. Our T2 Ishkor ship, number 2, has fallen, the skinny officer tremblingly reported to the pirate captain with a beard. The pirate captain sank into his chair, staring blankly. When he saw the Zero Storm approaching, he sensed something was wrong. This meant that the pirate starship fleet on the other battlefield was probably all destroyed. He looked at a data panel showing information about all his ships. Sure enough, most of the ship icons had turned gray, especially the starship attacking the Zero Storm. This included the 2 T2 Ishitar-class heavy destroyers and the T2 Ishkor-class medium starship. It meant that only 1 T2 starship remained, the T2 Grey Shark-class medium cruiser. Besides that, only 4 T1 Vulture-class medium starships and 1 T1 Blue Jay-class cruiser were left. Although the pirate fleet has 3 times more ships, the situation is clear to these space pirates. They see the T2 carrier and the number 0 Blizzard starship aiming at them, and their fate is obvious. Boss, let's surrender, the slim deputy nervously says. The bearded pirate captain is surprised. He never expected that the mission he thought was a sure win would end like this. But continuing the fight now is pointless. The remaining 6 pirate starships will be destroyed soon. Contact the Baron. We are willing to surrender, the captain whispers sadly. An hour ago, he never thought he would become a defeated surrenderer now. Captain, the enemy flagship is sending a message. They want us to give up resistance and surrender. Charlotte asks Zhao Chun for his opinion on the T2 Queen Bee. Zhao Chun coldly replies, we accept their surrender, but they must turn off all starship engines immediately. Charlotte hesitates, but then follows Zhao Chun's order. Soon, all 6 starships turn off their engines. Inside the dark starships, the space pirates are thinking about their future. Will they be imprisoned, sold into slavery, or sent to work in the mines for life until they die? No matter what, at least they can stay alive for now. Report. All 6 enemy starships have shut down their engines, Charlotte reports. But Zhao Chun suddenly gives an unexpected order. The number 0 Blizzard and the T-2 Queen Bee heavy carriers attack the remaining 6 pirate starships immediately and destroy them. He coldly watches those 6 pirate ships. From the moment they appeared here, their ending was already decided. Zhao Chen looked cold and said, "Surrender?" When they started this battle, surrender was not an option for them. Have you thought about what would happen if we lost now? If we surrender, what kind of situation would we face? Zhao Wana looked complicated. She thought about that ending. Perhaps it would be better if they all died in battle. If they were captured, she and the female crew members on the ship would suffer terribly. Zhao Chun continued, "I just checked the communication network of the Xianglong star system. During the 2 months these space pirates stayed there, the nobles sent them at least 500 women from various planets. What do you think would happen to those women on the pirate ships? You should know very well." Hearing this, Zhao Wanner clenched her teeth and bit her lips. But the Academy textbooks teach human rights. Charlotte, if Zhao Wanner can't continue to command the fight, then the command of the T-2 Queen Bee will be transferred to you. Continue with the mission, Zhao Chun said coldly. Yes, Charlotte replied. At that moment, the complex expression in Charlotte's eyes disappeared completely. Instead, she fully supported Zhao Chen's decisive order. She, who had fought many battles, knew very well that to survive on the interstellar battlefield, one must be cold-blooded. Miss Zhao, Zhao Chen's order is correct. On this battlefield, there can be no mercy, especially towards these ruthless enemies. They have no attachments, no morals. If they survive, they will do anything. The crimes they have committed are enough for them to die hundreds of times. The dirty things they've done are beyond your imagination, Charlotte advised Zhao Wanner from beside her. But there are still captured women on those pirate ships. Zhao Wanner was worried. Charlotte said in a deep voice, "For those women, death might be a kind of relief." Zhao Wanner took a deep breath and looked at Charlotte. "Can I continue to command the fight?" Charlotte nodded. Zhao Wanner stared at the 6 pirate starships ahead. At this moment, her eyes showed a trace of coldness. All interstellar drones prepare for the final attack. At this moment, the bearded pirate captain was waiting for the other starship to arrive and take control of their ship. Instead, they saw a swarm of distant interstellar drones approaching, along with the number 0 Blizzard's 1,200 mm cannon. The shaking of the ship from the attack made the captain realize what was happening. "Zhao Chun, you betrayed us." The captain shouted angrily, and that was his last cry. In the next moment, his T-2 Grey Shark-class medium star cruiser was hit by the number 0 Blizzard's 1,200 mm cannon. The other 5 starships also fell under the barrage of fire. It was too late for them to restart their ships now. Under the attack of the number 0 Blizzard and the bombardment from the T-2 Queen Bee's drone swarm, all 6 pirate starships one by one were destroyed. In the end, only wreckage remained on the battlefield. Hold your position and rest for 10 minutes. Charlotte, tally up the battle damage for the 2 starships. If everything looks good, we will head to the core area of the Shadow Dragon star system after 10 minutes, Zhao Chen said. Most of those nobles lived in the core of the Shadow Dragon star system, and this was not the end of the matter. Yes, Charlotte immediately began her work. Zhao Chen sat in the captain's chair and took a deep breath. This was probably his first real space battle, even though the opponent was just space pirates. It was much more exciting than the mock starship duels at the Academy. 2 starships destroyed 35 pirate starships. That was a pretty good result. Zhao Chen leaned back in the captain's chair and closed his eyes as if resting. In fact, he had opened the system interface. He wanted to eliminate these space pirates for another reason. That was the existence of a system mission. Mission: eliminate the space pirate fleet in the Shadow Dragon star system difficulty. Sea level reward. 3 mission points and 600 points status. Mission completed. Rewards available. Yes, it was all for this system mission. Zhao Chen clicked to claim his rewards, and 3 mission points along with 600 system points were added to his resources. With the last quarterly mission completed, Zhao Chen's resources were now quite substantial. Host: Zhao Chen. Occupation: top starship engineer. Special attributes: fleet luck bonus, insightful eye points, 1,100 number of starships, 2 warehouse, T-3 Blizzard class light interstellar ship. There are 8 mission points, and the system has awarded a total of 1,100 points. Later, I can consider exchanging for a T2 item, Zhao Qin thought with some excitement. As his strength grew, he gradually built a foundation for creating a star fleet. Charlotte's post-battle report interrupted Zhao Qin's thoughts. He opened his eyes and looked at Charlotte on the video screen. In this battle, the T2 Queen Bee ship was not damaged. We lost 107 T2 Larva-class light starship drones, 39 T2 Killer Bee-class medium starship drones, and 5 T2 Hornet-class heavy starship drones. Ammo and supplies were used up by 67%, but there were no casualties. The armor of the T2 Blizzard ship was damaged by 7.5%, mainly on the port side armor, which does not affect navigation or combat. Ammo and supplies were used up by 46%, with no casualties. The starship armor will be repaired later, and the starship drones and ammunition will be manufactured and replenished. The total damage cost from this battle is 8,000 stars. In just 1 hour of fighting, 8,000 stars were spent. Although this is small compared to Zhao Qin's savings of 1,000,000 stars, for ordinary people, this is wealth they could never accumulate in a lifetime. But we destroyed 35 starships, including 5 T2 starships. The wreckage can be recovered and reused later, Charlotte added. This news made Zhao Qin very happy. 60,000 stars. That much. Zhao Qin was surprised. Charlotte explained, although these 35 starships are old, if sold, their value would be around 6 million stars. Thinking about it, a pirate fleet originally worth 6 million stars, with leftover wreckage worth about 600,000 stars, makes sense. However, the 600,000 stars are based on us melting down and recycling the wreckage. If sold directly to others, we might only get 300,000 stars, Charlotte added. By the way, it seems that the Xiaolong star system does not have any industrial facilities to handle the debris of these starships. Zhao Qin helplessly covered his head. It's because the Xiaolong star system is too backward. It has nothing. The technological level is still at T1 stage. Let's just leave these starship wrecks here for now, since no one is going to take them. The number 0 Blizzard and T2 Queen Bee are ready to depart, traveling faster than light toward the core of the Xiaolong star system. It's time to meet my uncles and relatives. They prepared a big gift for us to go home. I should show some courtesy in return, Zhao Qin said with half-closed eyes, his expression cold. The time has come to clean up the Xiaolong star system. Although this cleanup might shake the foundation of the system, many families are involved in its interests. The Xiaolong star system has 1 star, 12 planets, 5 dwarf planets, 400,000 asteroids, 77 moons, and over 400 periodic comets. According to habitability factors, planets are classified into high-quality, low-quality, and secondary habitability categories. High-quality habitable planets have natural environments that are very suitable for life, either naturally or through modifications. Low-quality habitable planets have some dangers, but are still suitable for life. Secondary habitable planets are more complicated. Some alien races can live there, but most need special equipment or energy shields to survive, or they build small artificial cities under protective energy domes. The Xiaolong star system is resource poor. It has only 1 high-quality habitable planet, 7 low-quality habitable planets, and 73 secondary habitable planets. These planets include planets, dwarf planets, moons, and asteroids. The system has a population of 500 million, with 99% being humans, and the rest are other humanoid alien races. The main star of the system is called the Xiaolong main star. This star is where most of the noble families live and is the only high-quality habitable planet in the system. Today, the entire Xiaolong main star is shrouded in a strange atmosphere. All space elevators are shut down, and no starships are allowed to leave the orbital stations near the star. These commands seem to announce that something big is happening. Clan leader Bao is sitting in the main hall, where many members of the Bao family are waiting anxiously. Clan leader, can we attack the Zhao family estate now? One of the Bao family members asked eagerly. The clan leader Bao closed his eyes and said calmly, not yet. Until we get news from Longwei Star, no one in our family's fleet, mechs, or soldiers is allowed to move. Many Bao family members think the clan leader is being too cautious. They believe the useless Baron is probably already dead, so there's no need to waste time waiting. But no one dares to act without his permission. Several hundred kilometers away from the Bao family estate is the best environment on the planet Xionglang, where the Zhao family estate is located. The Zhao estate doesn't look high-tech. It's made of wooden structures built on mountains and rivers, with a traditional, old-fashioned style. At this peaceful estate, all Zhao family members look hopeless. Some are crying and holding their heads. It's over. Our Zhao family is finished today. I should have followed my cousin and left the Xiongling system long ago. Wandering in a strange place is better than waiting here to die. My poor children, born into such a fate. An old woman, leaning on a dragon-headed cane, slowly walks out. She hits the ground hard with her cane. All of you look so miserable. What kind of Zhao family children are you? She scolds angrily. Next to her is a woman with red hair. Old Lady Zhao, right now, the Bao and Cui families have sealed off the entire Xiongling planet and taken control of the patrol fleet. There are rumors. They've hired pirate ships to ambush Zhao Chun and Zhao Waner. This is basically trying to wipe out our Zhao family. A middle-aged man says helplessly. The communication on Xiongling is completely cut off. Even if we want to ask for help, no one will hear us. Our Zhao family is doomed today. Another woman, holding her child, cries loudly. Old Lady Zhao looks at everyone's faces and gasps in anger. Old lady, your health isn't good. Let's go back inside to rest first, said the red-haired woman. Jiang Hong, are you still unable to contact little Xia? Old Lady Zhao whispered. Jiang Hong shook her head. Miss still can't be reached. And what about the second and third brothers? You said they insisted on coming back, but have you advised them not to? Old Lady Zhao asked. Jiang Hong hesitated. I tried to persuade them, but after that last contact, I haven't heard anything. I don't know their current situation. Xiao Hong, you originally hid your identity. Now you openly appear at the Zhao family. This. Old Lady Zhao looked worried about the woman in front of her. My mission was always to protect the Zhao family. Jiang Hong was saved by the young lady, so I must carry out this duty. Today, I am prepared to face life or death with the Zhao family, Jiang Hong said calmly. This red-haired woman is Jiang Hong, the secret guard left on the Xiongling star system by the Zhao family. Knowing that her current mission is no longer important, she has resolutely come to the Zhao family, ready for a final battle. Oh, who would have thought that our Zhao family would end up like this? I remember when my father was still alive. Cough, cough. Old Lady Zhao suddenly coughed violently. Jiang Hong moved to support her and suggested they return inside. At that moment, a loud explosion sounded overhead. Everyone instinctively looked up. They saw a starship falling from the atmosphere, burning with fire, with visible damage on its hull. That's a T-1 Bald Eagle-class medium starship. Jiang Hong recognized the crashed starship at a glance. The T-1 Bald Eagle-class starship crashed into the distant ocean, causing huge waves and a tsunami that swept outward. Fortunately, there were no people living nearby. What's going on? The Zhao family members were surprised. Look quickly, it seems there's a battle in space. Someone pointed out the red flashes that appeared from outside the atmosphere now and then. Who is fighting outside the Xiongling main star? This was everyone's main question. Could it be that interstellar pirates are fighting with the Bao family and Cui family? Someone muttered. Activate the energy shield of the Zhao residence. Battle armor, get into combat mode immediately, Jiang Hong ordered confidently. A bright light quickly covered the entire Zhao family estate. Energy shield technology is easy to use on the ground, but moving it to a spaceship is a different level of technology. 30 T-1 combat mechs appeared around the Zhao estate. They are the last line of defense, but if a spaceship attacks, they probably won't be able to stop it. Look, something is entering the atmosphere. Someone shouted. A huge figure was slowly coming into the atmosphere, about 300 to 400 meters tall. Is that a spaceship? Someone recognized the shape. It looks like an aircraft carrier spaceship. As most of the figure entered the atmosphere, everyone finally saw what it really was. But now, everyone was more confused. They had never seen this spaceship before. Why was it appearing on the Dragon Star? Suddenly, a loud voice rang out across the land, like thunder. I Zhao Chun am back. As this T-2 Queen B-class heavy carrier spaceship entered the Dragon Star's atmosphere, many interstellar drones were launched. These drones are extremely powerful, easily surpassing ground forces. Normal combat mechs can't compare to them. They can circle the planet in just 10 minutes. Inside the bridge of the T-2 Queen B, A list was laid out in front of Zhao Wan'er. This was a task Zhao Chen gave her. After the spaceship entered the Dragon Star, she was to invite. Zhao Wan'er remembered what Zhao Chun had said at the time. If living people can't come, dead ones will do. This list included all the families supporting the Bao and Chui families in the assassination plan. The drones just launched were heading toward these families' homes. They were there to invite people. Big Sister Charlotte, soon this spaceship will be under your command. I will take a shuttle to the Zhao estate, Zhao Wan'er said. Yes, leave it to me, Charlotte nodded. But just in case, I will send a team of drones. Zhao Wan'er left the bridge and went to the hangar to board a shuttle. The shuttle is a small interstellar transport ship, usually carrying about 3 to 10 people. It has very limited cargo space and cannot travel long distances across star systems. Since large warships cannot land once they enter a planet's atmosphere, people usually take shuttles to reach their final destination. The shuttles are very small, about the size of a car, and fit easily into the starship. At this moment, Zhao Wan'er was as she looked at the familiar landscape on the planet's surface, she quickly arrived at a quiet mountain area. From afar, she could see a house surrounded by a glowing shield. That was her destination. Her shuttle hovered outside the shield. Inside, several combat mechs were aiming their weapons at her. I am Zhao Wan'er, the third young lady of the Zhao family. The situation is under control now. You can turn off the energy shield, Zhao Wan'er called out through the shuttle's loudspeaker. But there was no response inside. It seemed they still doubted her identity. Feeling helpless, Zhao Wan'er set the shuttle to hover automatically. She then opened the front hatch and stood up so everyone inside could see her clearly. Soon, the shield dropped. She really is the third young lady. Is the third young lady back? I saw her shuttle coming down from that carrier starship just now. Could that be reinforcements brought by her? Inside the Zhao family estate, the previously worried family members were now surprised and happy, though confused about what was really happening. When the shield disappeared, Zhao Wan'er guided her shuttle into the estate. She stepped out of the shuttle. The Zhao family members immediately gathered around her. Miss Wan'er, what exactly is going on? What's happening with that carrier starship? Third young lady, something big is happening in the Xiaolong star system. The Bao family and Chui family are planning to rebel and even attack you. Zhao Wan'er looked at the gathered family members and simply said, the situation is mostly under control now. As long as everyone stays inside the Zhao estate, there is no danger. Wan'er, what exactly is going on? I heard that the Bao family and the Chui family hired a fleet of interstellar pirates to attack you and Chener. How did you end up here? Didn't you encounter that pirate fleet? Old Lady Zhao stepped out with her dragon-headed cane. The Zhao family members who had been chattering around Wan'er fell silent, realizing it was better not to speak further. I and my brother piloted 2 starships. In the area around Longwei Star, we completely destroyed that fleet of interstellar pirates, Wan'er said. When she finished, the entire Zhao family was in an uproar. That fleet of pirates was destroyed? I heard that the pirate fleet had 35 starships, including 5 T2-class ships. And just 2 starships managed to wipe them out? How is that possible? Most people didn't believe Wan'er's words. In fact, if it weren't for her personal experience, Wan'er herself might not believe it either. There's no time to explain now. My brother is commanding the T2 number 0 Blizzard to clear out the starships loyal to the Bao and Chui families outside the Dragon's Claw main star. He asked me to command the T2 Queen Bee to take control of the Dragon's Claw main star. Rest assured, grandmother, everything is under control. Wan'er respectfully looked at the old lady. This Zhao old lady was actually of higher status than Zhao Chun, the lord, because she was his aunt, his father's sister. But due to personal reasons, she never married and has lived to this day, still in good health. Chener is back too, and he's commanding starship battles? The old lady Zhao was surprised. The people around Zhao family also looked surprised. Everyone knew that he was considered a useless baron in the Dragon's Claw galaxy, known only for reading a little, with no real skills. Now he's commanding starship battles? That's hard to believe. Wan'er noticed the looks around her, her face darkening. Grandmother, please wait a moment. My brother will be here soon, Wan'er said. They waited about half an hour. Then, everyone saw an astonishing scene. 2 more interstellar warships fell from the atmosphere, burning and damaged, with visible holes and cracks, one even with a large hole clearly visible on its hull. It looks like the starships from the Bao and Shui families. It is the T-2 Hyena-class medium interstellar destroyer and the T-2 Grey Wolf-class light interstellar cruiser. Someone recognized these two starships and exclaimed. As these two ships fell, they crashed into a desert and mountains respectively, causing large shock waves from the explosions, but they did not affect the Zhao family estate. While the Zhao family was still surprised by this event, a shuttle suddenly appeared at the Zhao estate. This shuttle was larger than the one Zhao Wanner had. A team of female soldiers in combat uniforms stepped out, followed by a man who was very familiar to the Zhao family. Baron Xianglong Star System, Zhao Chun. The female soldiers held laser guns and escorted Zhao Chun through the crowd. Their sharp eyes and fierce expressions made the Zhao family automatically give way. Zhao Chun paid no attention to the other Zhao family members. He walked straight to the old lady Zhao, knelt on one knee, and clenched his fists. Unfilial grandson Zhao Chun arrives late, causing grandma to worry. Among the Zhao family, the person Zhao Chun respects and is closest to is definitely the second grandma. Since Zhao Chun can remember, his parents have both passed away. He only had his cold older sister and a baby sister. Most people in the Zhao family considered Zhao Chun unnecessary because his birth forced the eldest daughter, the Baron of the Xianglong Star System, to leave home. During Zhao Chun's childhood, it was the second grandma who took care of him, like his own grandmother and mother. Get up, get up. You're now a baron. How can you kneel to me, an old lady? Old lady Zhao hurriedly helped Zhao Chun up, looking at him with affection. More than a year apart, you've grown taller and stronger. After being helped up, Zhao Chun supported old lady Zhao and headed toward the house. You're old now. You shouldn't be wandering outside. Let me help you back inside. At this time, I can't rest peacefully. I just heard Wanner say that you eliminated the interstellar pirate fleet and are now clearing the remnants of the ships assisting the Bao and Shui families? Old lady Zhao asked with concern. Zhao Chun replied, it's all taken care of. The 35 ships of the Three-Claw Serpent interstellar pirate fleet were completely destroyed near Longwei Star. The families of Bao and Shui control 16 starships, including 2 T-2 ships and 7 T-1 ships, all of which were destroyed by my fleet. The remaining 7 T-1 ships surrendered completely. Without their fleet, Bao and Shui families cannot cause any trouble. When Zhao Chun casually announced this, the Zhao family members were deeply shocked. They had thought that the situation on the Xianglong main planet, which had lasted for 2 months, was about to bring disaster. But now, Zhao Chun had resolved it with just a few words. Jiang Hong, help me contact all the nobles in the Xianglong star system. Within 5 hours, have all the clan leaders come to the Zhao family estate to see me. Say it's the order of the Baron. Anyone who refuses to come will face the consequences. Zhao Chun looked at Jiang Hong, who was meeting him for the first time, and gave the order directly without any hesitation. Jiang Hong was stunned for a moment. She instinctively glanced at Zhao Wanner. Zhao Wanner said, Jiang Hong, follow my brother's instructions. Yes. Jiang Hong began to handle the matter. Chunner, are you planning to deal with this matter? Old lady Zhao sensed something in Zhao Chun's words. She then asked, let me, this old woman, say a few words. What are you planning to do? The Xianglong star system has been decayed for many years. It's time for a big cleanup, Zhao Chun said. Old lady Zhao looked at Zhao Chun and gently stroked his face with her dry hand. You've grown up. Our Chunner has really grown up. Go ahead. Whatever you do, you are still the Baron of the Zhao family. Grandma supports you. Grandma, the scene later might not be suitable for you to watch. Maybe you should step aside, Zhao Chun said cautiously. Old lady Zhao burst into laughter. She held her dragon-headed cane and said, Chunner, do whatever you want. I've lived over 100 years. I've seen all kinds of scenes. You probably don't know that when your grandfather became a lord, I was the deputy commander of the fleet on the Xianglong star system. Today, I sit here to watch how our Chunner clears out the trouble. Zhao Wanner looked at her brother. She didn't know when, but her once unremarkable brother had become her main support. Zhao Chun nodded slightly. Zhao Wanner entered the room and brought out an old redwood chair with dragon carvings. The chair was old, with cracks and faded spots. This is Zhao Chun's great-grandfather, the founder of the Zhao family, who left behind a legacy. Madame Zhao loved this redwood dragon pattern chair the most. Madame Zhao held a dragon-headed cane and sat on the redwood dragon-patterned chair. At that moment, a team of interstellar drones appeared in the distant sky, seemingly fishing something below. Then, a horrifying scene unfolded before the Zhao family. Several bodies were directly dropped into the Zhao estate by these interstellar drones. A voice came from the drones. Reporting to the captain, the Chui family members are stubborn and resistant with force. According to your orders, the Chui residence has been destroyed, and all 225 members of the Chui family have been killed. This is the body of the head of the Chui family and some of the high-ranking members. Some Zhao family members looked carefully at the bodies on the ground and saw a bloody head. Sure enough, it was the Chui family head. Some women and children covered their mouths and vomited. The smell of blood filled the air. That old Chui guy should have died long ago. A traitor who eats from both sides. If it weren't for my father taking in their ancestors and giving them a meal, there wouldn't be a Chui family in the star system. Huffed. Madame Zhao looked at the bloody scene before her, her face calm, but she cursed the Chui family bitterly. Soon, several more batches of drones arrived, either carrying bodies or live people. The live ones were tied in nets and thrown from several meters high into the Zhao estate, mostly barely alive. The Zhao family members watched these people being brought in. They were all nobles secretly or openly supporting the Chui and Bao families. Suddenly, one person, suspended by a drone, caught everyone's attention. Bao Dashan, head of the Bao family. Bao Dashan's face was covered in blood, his eyes vacant, looking lost. Like the others, he was thrown heavily onto the ground. Head Bao, long time no see, Zhao Chun said with a smile, looking at Bao Dashan, who was as if melted into the mud. Bao Dashan saw the person in front of him and suddenly roared with rage, Zhao Chun, you beast, devil! You slaughtered my entire family. I will haunt you forever, even in death. I won't let you go. Hearing Bao Dashan's words, the Zhao family members trembled. They had just witnessed another noble of the Star Dragon clan slaughtered. Bao Dashan, I see your face is really thick-skinned. Who is planning the assassination to kill me and Zhao Waner? Who secretly organized ground troops, waiting for news of my death, to take control of the Zhao family estate by force? Zhao Chun sneered. Bao Dashan was speechless from the rebuke, but he looked at Zhao Chun with anger, as if he wanted to tear him apart. However, his legs were broken, so he had no chance to take revenge. Find a pole and tie up the head of the Bao family. And those bodies, tie them up too. Just leave them on the ground. What if they get cold? Zhao Chun said calmly. Soon, Bao family head, once one of the three noble families of the Xianglong star system, was tied to a pole like an animal. Old Lady Zhao watched Zhao Chen's actions, but said nothing, even taking a few sips of tea. At this moment, a shuttle arrived outside the Zhao family estate, but because of interstellar drone interception, it could only stop outside the courtyard. Report, clan leader Jiang has arrived, the servant announced. The Jiang family is one of the three major families of the Xianglong star system, and the only surviving Jiang family. It is also the family of Zhao Chen's fiancée, Jiang Shasha. Old Master Jiang, Jiang Xiong, was walking into the Zhao estate with his two children. Father, you just said that 2 starships destroyed the interstellar pirate fleet. Is that true? Jiang Xiong's son, Jiang Ziwen, whispered. Jiang Shasha looked very upset. She bit her lip, seeming to be lost in thought. The battle was on Longwei Star. We have relatives there, so the news is definitely true. The wreckage of the pirate starships is still drifting outside Longwei Star, Jiang Xiong said seriously. Big sister, are those 2 starships Zhao Chen's? Where did Zhao Chun get such powerful starships? Jiang Ziwen asked curiously. Jiang Shasha remembered the images of the 2 starships her father showed her. One was a carrier starship floating about 20,000 kilometers above their heads. One is called Zero Storm, and Zhao Chun used it to win a starship duel at the Northern Star Military Academy. I haven't seen the other carrier starship myself, so I don't know much about it, Jiang Shasha quietly replied. Suddenly, a strong smell of blood filled the air. While they wondered where the blood-stained smell was coming from at the Zhao residence, the scene before them made their eyes widen. Stone pillars stood tall in the Zhao estate, each one tied to a person, some alive, some half-dead, and some already dead. They all knew the identities of these people. Among them, 2 were especially familiar. One was alive, and the other was dead. They were the heads of the Bao and Cui families, two of the three major families in the Xiaolong star system. Passing through this forest of stone pillars, Jiang Xiong and the others reached the front of the Zhao family. Jiang Shasha looked at the man in front of her. Although he looked familiar, his eyes, expression, and aura made her feel that the Zhao Chun she had known for over 20 years was completely different from the man before her. Jiang family's Jiang Xiong, along with his children Jiang Ziwen and Jiang Shasha, are here to pay respects to the Baron. Jiang Xiong was the first to bow to Zhao Chun. Jiang Ziwen and Jiang Shasha also bowed. Uncle Jiang Xiong came so early, Zhao Chun said with a gentle smile. Upon hearing about the Baron's message, I came immediately. I didn't dare delay. Jiang Xiong replied humbly, lowering his head. Do you know about the rebellion of the Bao and Cui families? Zhao Chun asked directly, revealing his main purpose. Jiang Ziwen and Jiang Shasha felt a sudden chill, as if a knife was at their throats. Yes, I know, Jiang Xiong said. Did you participate? Zhao Chun asked calmly. No, Jiang Xiong replied. If you didn't participate, what have you been doing all this time? Zhao Chun stared at him. I only learned about the Bao and Cui families' rebellion a month ago, but by then, they had already taken control of the main star of Xiaolong. My starship was also requisitioned by them. I didn't want to join them, but I couldn't stop them, so I could only watch everything happen. Fortunately, the Baron was safe and managed to resolve the crisis, Jiang Xiong explained. He then knelt on one knee and said, but I know that as a subordinate, I did nothing during the rebellion of the Bao and Cui families, and I am as guilty as an accomplice. I, Jiang Xiong, am willing to accept any punishment from the Baron. I only ask that the Baron spare my wife, children, and family. Jiang Shasha looked worriedly at her father, then at the strange man. You are not at fault, and I do not blame you for this matter. First, take your children and step aside. I am going to hold a noble meeting for the Xiaolong star system. Zhao Chun directly changed the subject. He did not punish or reprimand the Jiang family directly for this incident. Time slowly passed. Inside the Zhao family estate, more bodies and prisoners appeared. The noble leaders who received the news and came here increased in number. Everyone who saw the bloody scene in the estate looked shocked. Everyone is here, Jiang Hong said quietly beside Zhao Chun. Zhao Chun looked around the estate. Besides the living and dead tied to the pillars, all the nobles from the Xiaolong star system had arrived, about 20 or 30 people in total. The strongest among them was the Jiang family, the only remaining of the three major families. I have dealt with the betrayal of the Bao and Cui families. Everyone involved has been tied to those stone pillars. Zhao Chun pointed to the bloody pillars. I know many of you didn't accept me as your leader before. You thought I was useless, Zhao Chun said with open arms. It doesn't matter to me. I really don't care what you say behind my back. If you think I am not worthy to be your leader, you can leave the Xiaolong star system and find your own way. I won't stop you. Zhao Chun's face suddenly became serious, showing authority without anger. But I really dislike people who say one thing and do another. Since they chose this path, they must pay the price for their choices. Subordinates are here. Jiang Hong stepped forward. Zhao Chun took out a list. For the families on this list, those still alive are to be imprisoned. The leaders will be executed, and the other family members will be sent to the mining area for unlimited labor. Everyone looked at the list with fear. It was a list of death. As for families not on the list, you know in your hearts how many are truly innocent. I didn't interfere with your small actions before. From today on, remember this. The Xiaolong star system belongs to the Zhao family. If you don't like it, you can leave now. Otherwise, I worry that one day you might end up on these stone pillars too. Zhao Chun turned his back to everyone. That's all for the meeting. Grandma, it's getting late. We should go have dinner now. I prepared dinner for you. I think you'll like it. Zhao Chun smiled as he helped Madame Zhao into the main house, looking completely different from the stern, king-like appearance he had just moments ago. Meanwhile, the people remaining in the courtyard looked at each other in surprise. No one knew who moved first, but gradually everyone lowered their heads and left the Zhao family estate. On the Jiang family shuttle, get ready. We're moving the entire clan, Jiang Xiong said in a serious voice. Moving the whole clan? Why? We have many businesses in the Xiaolong star system. Jiang Ziwang exclaimed in shock. Jiang Xiong sighed and said, You didn't catch what Zhao Chun just meant. He's warning us. If we don't honestly give up these businesses, our Jiang family will become just like the Bao and Chui families. Without our businesses, we can start over. Besides, I've already made plans in other star systems over the years. As a star trader, you must understand the importance of having multiple backup plans. But, do we really have to leave? Xia is Zhao Chen's fiancée. Given our relationship, we could fully support Zhao Chen. Maybe we could even be the top family in the Xianglong star system. Jiang Ziwing fantasized. Xia lowered her head even more when she heard this. Jiang Xiong looked at his daughter and said coldly, "Do you know what your sister did at the North Star Military Academy? There are still 450 half-orc female crew members without official positions. For now, they will temporarily take over these few T1 starships, responsible for maintaining order in the Xianglong star system. Additionally, all the starship wrecks from the 35 interstellar pirate ships of the Three-Claw Serpent Fleet at Longway Star will be collected. This has made the Xianglong star system seem peaceful again, as if everything is normal. But the real situation is that the Xianglong star system has undergone huge changes. Although it was originally controlled by the Lord's family, the Zhao family, which had been marginalized for a long time, suddenly took full control overnight. A T2 Queen-class heavy carrier starship led the interstellar drones and some Zhao family battle matches to take over all the assets of the rebellious noble families. These families were all labeled as rebels, and their assets and property were confiscated by the Lord. Just dealing with this took nearly a week. Second young master, these are the assets we seized from the rebellious nobles in recent days. Their industries have also been taken over by us and are back to normal production, Jiang Hong reported to Zhao Chen. Compared to Zhao Wanner, Charlotte, and others, no one was more suitable than Jiang Hong to handle the affairs of the Xianglong star system. Previously, she was just a small leader in the trade department, but thanks to her connections in the Xianglong star system, she knew everything about the area very well. Zhao Chen entrusted her with these tasks, and Jiang Hong did not refuse. Her main duty was to protect Zhao family's assets in this territory. Now, they were in Zhao family's residence, in Zhao Chen's temporary office. How much valuable property is there? Zhao Chen asked. Totaling over 600,000 star coins, Jiang Hong replied. Zhao Chen was truly surprised. Over 600,000 star coins? These guys are quite skilled at embezzling. They managed to accumulate so much wealth. Jiang Hong continued. Additionally, dozens of noble families, including the Jiang family, migrated away from the Xianglong star system within this week. Their remaining assets have all been gathered by us. Some items they couldn't take with them naturally became part of the Zhao family. That part of the item is also worth 100,000 star coins. Again, 100,000 star coins. Now, that totals 700,000 star coins. Zhao Chun was so happy he couldn't stop smiling. His T2 Iron Hammer class heavy interstellar industrial ship was finally promising. Young Master Second, are you really letting the noble families of the Jiang family leave? Isn't that a bit too much? Your previous list already cleaned out half of the noble forces in the Xianglong star system, including the giants from the Bao and Chui families. Now even the Jiang family is leaving, taking some noble families with them. Right now, less than 20% of the noble families remain in the Xianglong star system. Jiang Hong looked at Zhao Chun with concern. Allowing those noble families to leave is truly a big loss for the Xianglong star system. Those willing to stay will stay, even if I don't say so. Those who want to leave, we can't stop them, Zhao Chun said calmly. It's better this way. Let them leave cleanly. That way, I won't have to watch them secretly betray us and get angry enough to cut off their heads. Jiang Hong frowned. Young Master Second, have you thought about the Xianglong star system? After this chaos, the already fragile foundation of the system has. The Xianglong star system was already a mess. Can it get any worse? Zhao Chen spread his hands and said confidently, instead of worrying about the chaotic Zhao family, why not just start fresh? Building a city on the ruins is much easier than trying to fix a decayed city. Applause sounded. Zhao Chun and Jiang Hong looked over and saw old lady Zhao coming out with her cane. Building a new city on ruins, truly a fresh start. Jiang Hong, I think Chin'er is right. Instead of wasting time arguing with those families, we might as well drive them all out and start over. Seeing old lady Zhao agree, Jiang Hong couldn't argue. but she still didn't approve of Zhao Chen's way of handling things deep inside. Second grandma, you're out again. Zhao Chen stepped forward and helped old lady Zhao to sit down. I just came to see. I heard you're leaving the Xiongling star system soon to return to the Beiji Starship Military Academy? Old lady Zhao looked at Zhao Chen. Zhao Chen nodded and said, yes, it is already late September. The school starts in early October. It takes us 2 weeks to travel beyond the edge of the Xiaolong star system. Although I have already requested leave, the school has strict exams. If I don't complete the required coursework, I won't pass at the end of the term, he added. That's true. Studies are important. It's a pity that our Xiaolong star system doesn't have a stargate. It would make things much easier, old lady Zhao sighed. The lack of a stargate has always been a problem for the Xiaolong star system. Current stargate technology requires a system to have a double star. Since Xiaolong only has one star, building a stargate isn't possible. Grandma, don't worry. Our star system will soon have its own stargate. When that happens, if you miss me or want her, just tell us, and we'll come back to see you. Zhao Chen smiled. This was a major obstacle in Zhao Chen's plan to develop the Xiaolong star system. There are no suitable technology items in the system's T2 shop. The only option is to upgrade the shop to T3 and hope for better items there. Ha ha ha. I hope that day comes soon. Old lady Zhao chuckled happily, but she didn't take it too seriously. After chatting, she patted Zhao Chun on the shoulder and said, Chun, you're grown up now. If there's something you want to do, go ahead and do it. Grandma supports you. You also said that the current situation in the Xiaolong star system is a mess. How bad could it possibly get? She added. After old lady Zhao left, only Zhao Chun and Jiang Hong remained in the room. Jiang Hong, I know you've never accepted me. You think the person in charge of the Xiaolong star system shouldn't be me, but my older sister, right? Zhao Chen looked at Jiang Hong, who had a cold expression. Jiang Hong remained calm and said, yes. I don't need you to obey me. As long as you're truly loyal to the Xiaolong star system, whether you're loyal to me or my sister, it doesn't matter, Zhao Chen said. Jiang Hong didn't reply. Zhao Chen looked at her and said, Wanner and I plan to leave the day after tomorrow. When that happens, I will leave you 200 half-beastmen crew members, and the 71 starships will also be yours. You can command everything. Before I leave, I will announce that you are the acting lord of the Xiaolong star system. Treat you as if you were me. Jiang Hong was surprised. She didn't expect Zhao Chun to have such a plan. Even though she knew her loyalty was not to him, he was still willing to hand over the Xiaolong star system to her. During this time, Zhao Chun was also observing Jiang Hong. He learned about her background. Jiang Hong was a young girl found by Zhao's eldest daughter on another star system planet when she was out playing. At that time, she was sitting on her starving mother's body, staring blankly. She wanted to cry but was too hungry to make a sound. The Zhao family's eldest daughter took Jiang Hong in and buried her mother. Since then, Zhao's eldest daughter treated Jiang Hong like a sister, teaching her to read and write, and giving her various knowledge. Gradually, Jiang Hong's talent showed. She learned many things quickly and was very good at managing. Over the years, some affairs of the Xiaolong star system were managed secretly by Jiang Hong on behalf of Zhao's family, with instructions from the old lady Zhao. Zhao Chun was only a nominal lord. The Zhao family's eldest daughter had long trusted her to handle things on her own. Over time, Jiang Hong became very skilled at handling various matters. Most importantly, she was absolutely loyal to the Zhao family, or rather, to the family that raised Zhao's eldest daughter. Now, Zhao Chun had no capable people around him. He couldn't stay in the Xiaolong star system, as it was too poor. Charlotte was a general, capable of commanding starships in battle, but managing the Xiaolong star system? Not a good idea. So, Zhao Chun chose Jiang Hong. This woman, who did not submit to him. Are you willing to take charge of the Xiaolong star system? Jiang Hong asked. Zhao Chun nodded. I trust you to manage it. Jiang Hong was momentarily speechless. Zhao Chun then shared his plan. For the Xiaolong star system to rise and prosper, it needs 3 opportunities. First, the Stargate. A star system without a Stargate has no future for development. This problem can't be solved quickly, but I will find a way. Second, industry. The Xiaolong star system has always had only low-level T1 technology industries, which can only sustain self-sufficiency. If any sudden problems occur on those planets, starvation and death are common. If I remember correctly, the Galactic Alliance has a rating system based on the living conditions of a star system's people from 0 to 10. Our Xiaolong star system's rating is only 0.3, less than half of the average of 5. So, we must develop a promising industry that has advantages in foreign trade. This way, we can attract external funds to build up the star system. I already have a plan for this, but I need a little more time to prepare. Third point, a new order. Most of the old nobles are gone or have left. Now, the Xiaolong star system needs a new order. Although I am not happy with those nobles, some big families still need to exist. Your task during this time is to restore the order in the star system centered around the Zhao family. This can increase the loyalty of smaller families to the Zhao family or help rebuild loyal families. I think you can handle this task. Hearing Zhao Chun talk endlessly about these plans, Jiang Hong thought the first 2 points were unrealistic and impossible to achieve. But the third point is the only one she agrees with. The Xiaolong star system is in chaos and needs a new order first. The young lady's task for me is to protect the star system and the Zhao family while she is away, Jiang Hong said coldly to Zhao Chun. It's not for you, but for the young lady. At this moment, the woman still showed a bit of pride. After a simple agreement, Jiang Hong left. Zhao Chun used his handheld device to project a holographic map of the Xiaolong star system, looking at the stars. He raised his hand as if to gently touch the starry sky. Since this was your wish before, I will make it come true for you, Zhao Chun said as if talking to someone, with a faint smile on his face. Then, he opened the system interface. Host, Zhao Chun occupation, top starship engineer special traits, fleet luck bonus, insightful eye points, 1,100 number of starships, 2 warehouse, T3 Storm Snow class light interstellar battleship blueprints, T1 Wolf Laos class medium interstellar destroyer blueprints, T2 Queen Bee class heavy carrier blueprints, T2 Hammer class heavy industrial ship blueprints currently. I have 1,100 system points and 8 task points. Now, let's check the upgrade system shop requirements. T2 system shop upgrade conditions first. Exchange for 2 T2 level items, 1/2. Second, complete 2 C-level system tasks, 1/2. Third, spend 2,000 system points to upgrade the shop, 1,100/2,000. Zhao Chun's face darkened. It turns out his current points are not enough to upgrade the T2 system shop. Never mind, I'll work on each condition one by one. The third condition can wait. The second condition depends on chance for the C-level tasks. So, I'll start with the first, exchange for 2 T2 items. I've already exchanged for a T2 Queen Bee before, which counts as 1 T2 item. I just need one more. Perfect, Zhao Chun already has a plan. I remember seeing it before, but where was it? Zhao Chun searched through the T2 items in the system shop. Finally, he found an item he had seen earlier. T2 Bronze Eden-class starship blueprints because it hasn't been exchanged yet. He couldn't see detailed data, only a brief description. T2 Bronze Eden-class starship, support-type starship, capable of endless cycles without resource consumption, used for farming, forestry, livestock, and fishing operations in simple terms. This is a star farm, ranch, forest, and fishery, all without any cost. Spend 400 system points and 3 task points to exchange for the T2 Bronze Eden-class starship blueprints. Congratulations! You have received the blueprints for the T2 Bronze Eden-class starship, remaining system points, 700 remaining task points. 5 Zhao Chun immediately began reviewing the data on this starship. As described, the T2 Bronze Eden is an auxiliary starship capable of interstellar travel. It uses nutrients derived from cosmic particles to endlessly cultivate agriculture, forestry, livestock, and fishing industries inside the ship. In simple terms, it can grow food and raise animals without using any resources. This technology has also been studied by the Galactic Alliance, but its cost-effectiveness is far better than planting crops on planets. It has never been commercialized or mass-produced. However, Zhao Chun's approach is different. The cost to build a single T2 Bronze Eden is only 3 million star coins. Compared to that, it might seem expensive. For example, a T2 Queen Bee costs only 1.5 million star coins, which is half the price. The key point is that the monthly crop yield of 1 T2 Bronze Eden is worth about 1 million star coins, depending on the type of crops grown. This yield can meet the needs of at least 1 million people. Calculating this way, building just 500 T2 Bronze Edens could eliminate the food crisis in the Xionglong star system. Natural crops have always been a valuable commodity in interstellar trade. In the future, they could become an important part of Xionglong star system's external trade. This is also why Zhao Chun mentioned the second point to Jiang Hong earlier. He had a plan. His goal is to achieve food freedom. The wreckage of the Three-Claw Snake Star Pirates fleet was transported to the Arctic Fox star system by number 0 Blizzard. Zhao Chun nodded happily. These were all funds for building starships. I didn't expect you to really let the Jiang family go, Zhao Wanner said, surprised. Zhao Chun smiled and replied, what else could I do? Kill the Jiang family completely? According to Jiang Hong's intelligence, although the Jiang family knew about the Bao and Chui family's plans, they stayed on the sidelines and didn't get involved. I need to show strength in the Xiaolong star system, so I cleared out the Bao and Chui families and other clans. But no one wants a ruler who kills without reason. Too much killing would cause more problems than it solves. So, I left the Jiang family alone. But I made sure they got out of my territory. Zhao Wanner nodded understandingly. She had thought Zhao Chun might use this opportunity to deal with Jiang Shasha's family. But surprisingly, Zhao Chun never mentioned Jiang Shasha's name at all. Get ready to leave, Zhao Chun said, already entering the sleep pod. The sleep pod of the T2 Queen Bee was much better than number 0 Blizzard's. It looked nicer, was more comfortable to lie in, and even the blue liquid inside had a faint fragrance. Gradually, Zhao Chun began to fall asleep. The T2 Queen Bee also entered hyperdrive, preparing to cross interstellar boundary space and head to the Arctic Fox star system. Hello, Mr. Zhao Chun. I am CC-11, the person in charge at Arctic Fox Starport. It's a pleasure to serve you again, a woman greeted with a smile through the video window. Arrange another Starship workshop like the last time. Book it for 2 months for now. Also, I will give you an order for raw materials worth 2 million star coins. Please procure the materials as quickly as possible. Finally, book a ticket for me to the North Star Starship Military Academy, Zhao Chun said. Okay, I've already booked a large Starship workshop for you, the same one you used last time. The ticket to the North Star Starship Military Academy is also booked. It's a first-class ticket on AT2 Interstellar Cruise departing tomorrow afternoon. No problem, the woman replied with a smile. That's all for now, Zhao Chun said as he transferred 2.1 million star coins from his account. Initially, Zhao Chun only had 1.9 million star coins, but after collecting 700,000 star coins from the noble family of the Howling Dragon star system, his total reached 2.6 million star coins. Even after spending 2.1 million, he still had 500,000 star coins left. The female manager smiled and said, during your stay, if you need anything, feel free to contact me. I am available 24 hours. She winked flirtatiously, looking affectionate and reluctant to end the video call. This was her big benefactor. A spaceship ticket? Zhao Wanner looked at Zhao Chun in surprise, unsure of what Zhao Chun was planning. The T2 Queen Bee had traveled for a week at faster-than-light speed. Thanks to its level 4 faster-than-light engine, it arrived at the Arctic Fox starport a full week ahead of the number 0 Blizzard. It happened to be the last day of September. I have some things to handle, so I won't return to the Academy for now. You will take this flight back to the Northern Star Fleet Military Academy tomorrow, Zhao Chun said. Is something more important than studying at the Academy? Aren't you worried about failing your exams at the end of the term? Zhao Wanner muttered, clearly unhappy that Zhao Chun wouldn't go back with her. Zhao Chun patted Zhao Wanner's head and said, don't worry, I have it all planned. In a little over a month, or at most 2 months, I will be back. Then I'll wait for you at the Academy, Zhao Wanner replied. The T2 Queen Bee slowly entered the Starship workshop where it was built. Although one T2 Queen Bee was parked, there was plenty of space to park or build more starships. The raw materials order hasn't arrived yet. Since I have some free time, let's go explore the Arctic Fox starport. We were so busy building the T2 Queen Bee that we haven't had a proper look around, Zhao Chun suggested. After a week of rest, Zhao Chun wanted to enjoy this brief vacation before his busy schedule in the coming days. Sounds good, Zhao Wanner happily agreed. Later, Zhao Chun gathered a team of 7 half-orc female soldiers arranged by Charlotte. They took an autonomous hovercar and left the Starship workshop, heading into the interior of the Arctic Fox starport. The inside of the starport was a large city that could accommodate tens of thousands of residents. Of course, the main requirement is that you have money. By the way, it seems my crew doesn't have matching uniforms, Zhao Chen said, rubbing his chin as he looked at the 5 half-beast woman soldiers guarding him. They were dressed in simple cloth clothes. These were the clothes given to them for free when they were bought from the traders. Since you haven't bought new clothes this year, let's go shopping for some. I will also order a batch of uniforms for the crew, Zhao Chen suggested. I have my school uniform at the academy, Zhao Wanner replied. Zhao Chen looked at Zhao Wanner, who was still wearing her school uniform. No one wanted to wear the same uniform every day, mainly to save money. Zhao Chen took Zhao Wanner by the arm and said, "No, today you must buy new clothes. Not less than 10 sets, or you can't go home." Zhao Wanner looked surprised. As they hurried along, a person wearing a black cloak, head bowed, staggered toward them. The alert half-beast woman soldier immediately stepped in front of Zhao Chen to block her. The person bumped into the soldier and quickly apologized. It was a hoarse female voice. Sorry. Then she quickly walked away. Zhao Chen watched her disappear around the corner. What's wrong? Zhao Wanner asked, noticing Zhao Chen's strange expression. Zhao Chen said, "It's nothing. Let's go buy clothes." Zhao Chen stared at the clothing options in front of him, looking conflicted. Tight dresses, maid outfits, bunny girl costumes. If the female crew on his starship all wore these uniforms, the scene would be amazing. Don't even think about it. Just order what I drew, Zhao Wanner said, pulling out some sketches she had made, destroying Zhao Chen's beautiful fantasy. Suddenly, Zhao Chen saw a familiar figure outside the shop, but behind that person were several sneaky figures. Wanner, wait here for a moment. The 2 of you stay, and the 3 of us will go, Zhao Chen said, then led the 3 half-beast woman soldiers away from the clothing store, disappearing into the crowd. They were in a remote, abandoned underground tunnel not far from the clothing shop. Previously, I encountered the black-cloaked guard woman of Zhao Chen's personal guard on the street. She was carefully walking through an underground tunnel. After walking for a while, she turned into a small passage and rhythmically knocked on the wall a few times. Soon, dozens of figures emerged from the darkness ahead. They were all women, each with short horns on their heads, small wings on their backs, and some even had long, thin tails. Big Sister Lilith, the girls gathered around the black-cloaked woman. The woman lowered her hood, revealing her elegant features. Although her face was smeared with some dark, mud-like substance, her charm was still undeniable. Like the girls, she also had black horns on her head. Are you hungry? I found some food. You can eat first, Lilith said, pulling out a box filled with a green, sticky liquid. This was artificial food. It didn't taste very good, but the girls didn't hesitate. They reached out and ate it eagerly, clearly very hungry. Watching the children eat, Lilith swallowed hard. Unfortunately, today she targeted a wealthy merchant, but her guard was so alert that she had no chance. She didn't expect the guard to be so quick and sharp. Big Sister Lilith, you should eat some too. A girl about 13 or 14, holding a bit of the green artificial food, said to Lilith. Lilith smiled gently. I've already eaten outside, so I'm not hungry. You all eat. The girl blinked and started gobbling the food down. Lilith turned around and touched her flat stomach. Actually, she hadn't eaten anything herself. The food she stole today was limited and only enough to satisfy everyone. If she ate more, there wouldn't be enough for the others. It was okay if she skipped a meal, but she couldn't bear to see her people go hungry. Looking at the bowl of green, sticky artificial food, it was finished in no time. Even the bottom of the box was licked clean. She sighed. It seemed she would have to go out hunting again today. Just then, very faint footsteps sounded, but Lilith heard them immediately. She looked in the direction she came from and shouted sharply, "Who's there?" I knew I was right earlier. This girl is a succubus. You're so clever, big brother. You think this succubus isn't alone, and you follow the trail, maybe you'll find more. I didn't expect there are so many. Right now, a good quality succubus is said to be worth thousands of star coins, and the one in front of us could be worth even more. 7 men stepped out of the darkness, holding weapons like blades. In Starport, there are rules. No firearms are allowed inside the trade areas, so they only carry cold weapons. The men sneered as they looked at the succubus and the other succubi behind her, who were now frightened and hugging each other. Succubi are a rare star race, with no males. Only females who can reproduce without mates. Each succubus is very attractive. They originally lived on a planet with no one to bother them, but once discovered, hunters came for them because of their alluring figures. Soon, a war broke out on the planet where they lived. The succubi are not strong fighters, so the planet was invaded and fell. Most succubi died or were captured, and the survivors escaped on starships, beginning a long wandering life. During their travels, the succubi gradually scattered. In the black market, a succubus can cost thousands of star coins, and the most beautiful ones can reach tens of thousands. Many nobles and aristocrats are proud to own a succubus as a. But because of heavy hunting, very few succubi are left today. Who would have thought that dozens of succubi are living inside abandoned pipes in this starport? This is like a moving treasure vault. Run quickly, Lilith shouted sharply, drawing a dagger and preparing to fight. The succubi behind her started to run away. Not so fast. The men rushed forward. Lilith waved her dagger, but it was clear she wasn't very skilled in fighting. Soon, one of the men snatched her dagger. Little girl, I advise you not to resist. Instead of struggling here, let me sell you to those nobles. Then you'll be living a good life, eating well and enjoying luxury, instead of suffering here. The man sneered as he grabbed Lily's arm. Who wants to be your prisoners? I would rather die than let you succeed. Lily opened her mouth and bit the man's arm. The man yelped in pain and kicked Lily in the stomach. She was thrown backward, falling hard to the ground, clutching her belly in pain. Let me go? Big sister Lily, save me. Behind her, her fleeing companions were crying out. Lily clenched her teeth and looked up. On the other side of the pipe, there were 4 or 5 people blocking the way, already starting to catch her companions. It looked like they were all part of the same group. Hey, why are you so rough? If you kick too hard and break her, she won't sell for a good price. Another man shouted angrily. The man who had been bitten snorted and walked toward Lily, saying, if she can't be sold, then we can enjoy her ourselves. I've lived so many years and never played with a succubus. I heard that playing with a succubus, even if it shortens your life by 10 years, is worth it. He stepped in front of Lily, one foot pressing down on her back, and grabbed her hair with one hand, sneering. Tonight, I want to taste the famous succubus's flavor. Lily's head was pulled up by her hair, and the pain in her body was nothing compared to the pain in her heart. She knew very well what would happen to her and her companions after being caught. She had survived so many years, barely scraping by. Why didn't she and her kind have the right to live equally? Is it just because they look good? Lily hated it all. Hated this cursed universe. Hated those who invaded her home planet. Hated the people in front of her. If anyone could save them, Lily would give everything, even her life. Suddenly, screams came from the pipe. At first, she thought it was her fleeing succubus friends. But soon, she realized something was wrong. A figure stepped out from the darkness. Such a lively scene. Mind if I join in? The man stepping on Lily's man stared at Zhao Chun, while his hand behind him made a few gestures. His accomplices, who had been grabbing the demon, began to gather around. Who am I? Zhao Chun rubbed his chin, pretending to think, then smiled and replied, who I am is none of your business. The man felt humiliated and pointed at Zhao Chun angrily. Kid, I warn you. I am from the Black Fox Society of the Arctic Fox Starport. Now get lost, and I might pretend nothing happened. Otherwise, I will make sure you can't leave the Arctic Fox Starport. The name sounded like a gang, but Zhao Chun didn't care. He chuckled softly, shook his head, and spread his hands. The Black Fox Society behind you might be pretty capable, but do you think your people can leave here alive? The man understood what Zhao Chun meant. He immediately pulled out a dagger, and his companions also drew their weapons. About 10 or so people gathered together. 3 female half-orc soldiers immediately prepared to fight. Don't rush, let me try first, Zhao Chun said, stopping the 3 guards. Then he stepped forward alone, wiggled his fingers at them, and said, no need to delay. Let's settle this quickly. You're asking for trouble. Attack him. Kill this guy. The man ordered. His companions rushed forward. Since the underground pipes were narrow, only about 5 people could walk side by side. In the fight, only 3 were at the front. The 3 female guards each held a short blade at their waist. General Charlotte had said that no matter what happened, protecting the captain's life was the top priority. But now, the captain had ordered them not to interfere. This made them feel conflicted. They could only watch and wait. If the captain was in danger, they would act immediately. Unexpectedly, a surprising scene unfolded. Zhao Qin charged ahead, first dodging the dagger aimed at him, then punched the attacker in the chest. It sounded like a broken rib. Then Zhao Qin delivered 2 flying kicks, knocking the other 2 enemies away. His speed was fast, his movements smooth, and his strength terrifying, making the 3 half-orc female guards gasp in amazement. They were no less impressive than the elite warriors within their orc tribe. Continue. Zhao Qin's eyes flashed with fighting spirit. After injecting the T1 super soldier serum, Zhao Qin had simulated battles on the spaceship. The data showed that his current physical strength exceeded that of most interstellar soldiers. But since he had never fought in real combat, he didn't know exactly how strong he was. If he fought the female orc crew members, they would hesitate to attack him seriously because of his role as captain. He also couldn't be rough with the female crew members. So he had been waiting for a chance to show his strength. Now, that opportunity had arrived. After 3 minutes, all but one man's accomplices had fallen to the ground, with about a third of them dead. Some had their hearts crushed by heavy blows. Others had their necks cut by hand knives. Zhao Qin's strength was too great. Ordinary bodies couldn't handle it. You, don't come any closer. The man looked at Zhao Qin with fear, backing away repeatedly. Finally, he turned and ran in terror. Zhao Qin picked up a dagger from the ground and threw it directly. The dagger pierced into the man's buttocks. Oh, a piercing scream. The man collapsed beside Lily, in a strange position. Zhao Qin said unhappily, "The accuracy still isn't good enough. I was aiming for the head." Lily looked at the man lying in front of her, recalling how, over the years of their escape, people like this had relentlessly pursued them. Many of her sisters had even lost their lives because of it. Fuming with hatred, she grabbed a small knife nearby and stabbed it into the man's neck. Blood splattered onto her face. After a few seconds of stunned silence, Lily regained her senses and cautiously looked at the strange group of 1 man and 3 women. "You're probably from the succubus race," Zhao Qin said to Lily, signaling the 3 female guards behind him to clean up the battlefield and deal with those still alive. For the female orc crew members, this was a common task. Raising their blades was to take a life. "Are you here to capture us?" Lily said, holding the dagger against the pale neck. "I would rather die than let you humiliate me." Zhao Qin shrugged and said, "If you want to die, go ahead. But I didn't mean to humiliate you. I just saw the demon tribe and was curious, so I came to take a look." Lilith was stunned. She didn't understand what this man really meant. "This place is no longer safe. If you don't mind, you can come to my spaceship. I can guarantee your safety," Zhao Qin said. Lilith looked at Zhao Qin cautiously and said, "How do I know you're not after the same thing as them? If I wanted the same thing as them, I could just catch you now. Why bother wasting words here? If you don't accept my kindness, that's fine. Let's go. Someone will come to catch you soon. If you die, it's over. It's a pity about your tribe. It seems there are even children among them." Zhao Qin turned to leave. Lilith's soft spot was touched. She looked back at her frightened tribe members hugging each other. She bit her lip lightly, but finally couldn't help but shout, "Hey, I want to go with you, as long as you can guarantee my tribe's safety and not hurt them." I can agree to any condition." This statement was very powerful coming from a beautiful demon woman. "All 3 of you. Figure out how to send them back to our spaceship. No problem, right?" Zhao Qin looked at his female guards. The guards nodded and said, "Captain, we can rent a few flying cars, park them at the underground tunnel exit, hide them inside, and take them back to the spaceship. It's not difficult." "Then let's do that," Zhao Qin said, turning without looking back and heading toward the tunnel exit, as if he didn't care about the demons behind him. Lilith hugged her frightened tribe members. She didn't know if her choice was right or wrong, but rather than waiting here to die, she decided to take a chance. She watched the man's back with a complex expression. What she didn't see was that the man's lips were slightly curved into a faint smile. The demon tribe, besides their charming appearance, also possessed an innate talent for enchantment. They also have another trait. They are very smart. Although their physical strength is low, their minds are very clever. They excel at mental work, can manage many tasks well, and learn quickly. However, compared to these abilities, Most people focus on the appearance of succubi. After all, many intelligent species exist in space. Several unmanned flying cars are parked inside Zhao Chen's starship workshop. During the time he rented the workshop, it became essentially his private territory. No one, not even people from the Arctic Fox starport, is allowed inside without his permission. "Come out. You're safe now," Zhao Chun said after getting off his vehicle, calling to the unmanned flying cars. One by one, the succubi carefully stepped down, wearing black cloaks that hid their identities. "This is my starship workshop, and this is my starship," Zhao Chun introduced to the succubi. "And I am the captain of this starship. My name is Zhao Chun. I'm Lilith, and I am their leader." Lilith stepped forward. She looked nervous and shy, but she had to stand up for her people. At this moment, a woman stepped down from another unmanned flying car, Zhao Wanner. Zhao Wanner looked surprised at the new people in front of Zhao Chun. She examined them carefully and exclaimed, "Succubi?" Lilith immediately looked at Zhao Wanner with caution. "Don't be nervous. This is my sister." Zhao Chun waved his hand. Then he looked at Zhao Wanner and said, "You are responsible for settling them. They will stay on our starship for a while. Take them to wash up first, then to the dining hall for a meal, and finally arrange clean clothes and dormitories for them." "Okay," Zhao Wanner instinctively agreed. But she quickly asked, "Wait, you haven't explained where these succubi came from." Although she was a woman, Zhao Wanner knew well what succubi meant to men. Hey, what do you mean by kidnapped?" "I call it helping others." Zhao Chun rolled his eyes. "I'll explain everything later. My raw materials and supplies are about to arrive, so I need to check on that. As for the clothes I ordered earlier, you are responsible for arranging them." After speaking, Zhao Chun happily ran off, leaving Zhao Wanner and the succubi behind. There is no need to worry about the allure of demons. Nothing is more important than Zhao Chen's spaceship. Lilith and her fellow tribespeople followed her onto this huge spaceship. "My name is Zhao Wanner. I don't know how you were brought here by that guy, but you can rest assured. While I am here, he won't do anything bad to you," Zhao Wanner said firmly. "I am Lilith," she whispered. Her tribe members still huddled shyly behind her, but they also looked around curiously at the bright, beautiful corridor of the spaceship. Compared to the Zero Storm, the interior of the T2 Queen-class heavy cruiser is very beautiful, almost like a piece of art. When Zhao Wanner first entered, she immediately liked the spaceship. "You all smell a bit. I'll take you to wash up first," Zhao Wanner said to Lilith. Lilith blushed. These demon girls had been hiding in the underground tunnels of the spaceport recently, so they naturally smelled bad. The large bathhouse was filled with steam. There were shower stalls with shower heads on both sides, and in the middle, there was a large bath for soaking. "Hurry up and take a shower. Clean clothes are here. After washing, change into them. Later, I'll take you to eat," Zhao Wanner said at the door of the bathhouse. Okay. Lilith was still a bit shy, but the demon girls couldn't resist the warm water and went into the shower. "Wow, hot water. I haven't taken a hot bath in a long time. But if we use water like this, will we get in trouble? I heard water is very precious on the spaceship. I once rode on a T2 spaceship. Its showers only had 5 stalls, and it was hard to turn around. Each person only got 3 minutes to shower, and it wasn't with warm, clean water like this," said one demon girl. Lilith looked around. As someone who had worked on a spaceship from the demon planet Kingdom, she knew that such a bathhouse was very luxurious. "Don't worry about water use. Our spaceship uses the most advanced cosmic particle collection technology to gather water molecules, so water isn't very precious here." Zhao Wanner's voice came from outside. This completely eased their worries. These succubi began to relax and take a bath, washing away the dirt on their bodies. Each of their beautiful figures was clearly displayed. If Zhao Chun were here now, he would probably be amazed. Because of the underground pipes earlier, he couldn't see what these succubi looked like, but now each one looks stunning. They truly are the kind of beauties that male humans in the universe chase after. After about 10 minutes, all the succubi finished bathing and changed into clean clothes. Actually, if they hadn't been told they needed to eat, they could have bathed in this happy place all day long. "Big Sister Lilith, will I have a chance to bathe here again?" A small succubus whispered, holding Lilith's arm and looking at the bathhouse behind her. Lilith looked at the hopeful expression in the little succubus's eyes. She couldn't bear to say no, so she whispered, "Yes, you will." Until now, She still didn't know why the man named Zhao Chen helped them, or what their future would be. Miss Warner, we are all finished washing. Thank you for the clothes. Actually, our clothes are still wearable, Lilith said a little shyly. But in truth, their clothes were torn and unfit to wear, not fitting at all. During their escape, who cared about clothes? As long as they could cover themselves, that was enough. Zhao Warner looked at the dozen or so succubi in front of her, and her eyes widened in surprise. You are all so beautiful, Zhao Warner said enviously. Succubi have innate charm. Their every gesture carries this aura, which they can't control. That's why they are born to be stunning. Lilith's cheeks turned red, but she was already used to such looks. Zhao Warner looked at Lilith and then at herself, especially her chest. She felt like a small wizard seeing a great wizard. But actually, Zhao Warner's looks weren't bad either, just that she hadn't fully grown yet, and her style was completely different from Lilith and the others. Ahem. Let's go eat. Let's go eat. Zhao Warner changed the subject and led Lilith and the others to the spaceship's restaurant. Inside the spaceship restaurant, Zhao Warner pointed to the food counter. You can order whatever you want. Just don't waste food. After she finished speaking, no succubus stepped forward. Zhao Warner looked over in surprise, seeing a group of succubi standing still and silent. Some of them were staring intently at a half-orc female crew member eating in the distance, making her feel a bit embarrassed. Do you usually eat these? Lilith asked in amazement. All the items on the menu were natural foods, not processed or artificial. Of course, you can order whatever you like, Zhao Warner said casually. As Lilith smelled the delicious aroma, she thought to herself, this isn't a spaceship. It's more like paradise. I want a plate of dumplings. Can I have a steak rice dish? Big Sister Lilith and fruits. Fruits. These are the legendary fruits. The succubi looked like children who had never been outside, excitedly standing in front of the food counter. Lilith looked at her people with a feeling of sadness in her heart. After placing their orders, the succubi still stood eagerly waiting at the counter. The chef inside smiled and said, you can find a seat and wait. Once the food is ready, a mechanical waiter will bring it to you. Hearing this, the succubi nodded and slowly moved to the nearby dining area. A few minutes later, the first batch of their ordered food was ready. Wow, it's really rice. One succubus exclaimed in disbelief, looking at the fragrant rice in front of her. As she chewed, happiness spread across her face. The others looked at her with envy, but soon their own food was also prepared. They started eating eagerly, enjoying a happiness they had never experienced before. Gradually, some succubi began to cry while eating. Lilith looked at a small succubus and asked with concern, why are you crying? Is it not tasty? It's not that it's not tasty. It's so delicious. But I can't help thinking that I might not be able to eat this again in the future. I just want to cry. Big Sister Lilith, I don't want to hide and wander like I used to. Living through hunger and hardship, the small succubus said tearfully. Lilith silently embraced her, remaining silent for a long time. Sad feelings can also spread easily. Soon, most of the charming demons were eating quietly while softly crying. A small demon, holding a bowl almost as big as her face, carefully walked to the food stand and timidly said, can I have another bowl? The bowl had already been licked clean, as if it had been washed. What did you say? Maybe because her voice was too soft, the chef didn't hear her right away. The small demon lowered her head shyly and whispered, half a bowl. Half a bowl is okay too. Oh, you want more to eat, right? No problem. Miss Warner just said that today you can eat as much as you want, as long as you don't waste food. Let me see. You ordered beef noodles. Wait here. They'll be ready soon, the chef said cheerfully. Thank you. The small demon finished speaking, then jogged back to her spot, keeping her eyes fixed on the food stand without looking away. More than an hour later, when Zhao Warner returned, she saw a shocking scene. The once delicate, charming, and alluring demons now all had small bellies, as if they were pregnant. Some of them looked pained. What's going on with you all? Zhao Warner asked in surprise, looking at Lilith. Lilith looked a bit apologetic and shy. Sorry. They couldn't control themselves and ate too much. A few of them are just too full. As she spoke, she gently touched her own slightly rounded belly. Burp. This is the first time I feel full to death. Like this, said a little demon leaning on a chair, her face showing both pain and happiness. Zhao Wanner chuckled and said, "Later, I'll arrange for someone to bring you some medicine to help digestion. Once you feel better, I'll take you to see your dorms." "Thank you, Miss Wanner." Lilith sincerely expressed her gratitude this time. She knew very well that the value of this meal was more than all the food the demons had eaten over the past few years. "It's nothing. Just a meal," Zhao Wanner said, used to the food at the Starship restaurant. She gradually felt that there was nothing special about it. It seemed people were meant to eat natural foods, not artificial ones. "Do all crew members eat these meals?" Lilith asked. Zhao Wanner nodded and then raised a finger. "Zhao Chun, my brother, set a standard of 10-star coins per month for the crew's meals on this spaceship. 10-star coins a month." Hearing this, Lilith was surprised. That seemed very luxurious. When she ordered food earlier, she looked at the price list on purpose. With 10-star coins, as long as she didn't order big meals every day, she could eat here every day for a whole month. Life here must be very happy. I have another question. Since earlier, I've noticed that most of the crew on this spaceship are women. Besides you and Captain Zhao Chun, all the others are female half-beasts, Lilith said, sharing her observation. Zhao Wanner rolled her eyes and complained, "You should ask my brother about that. All these female half-beast crew members were bought from the black market as slaves." "Slaves?" Lilith was shocked. She looked at the half-beast women laughing and eating in the restaurant. When did slaves get such good treatment? But thinking about a man's spaceship filled mostly with women, she couldn't help but suspect Zhao Chen's intentions. After the satisfied demon women rested, Zhao Wanner took them to the dormitory. "You are 18 people in total, right? I'll arrange 5 4-person rooms. The remaining beds will stay empty," Zhao Wanner said as they walked. Lilith waved her hands quickly. "No need. Just one room for us is fine. If not, a place to sit is enough." Lilith looked at the clean corridor. Resting here wasn't a problem. After all, during their years of escape, they had been in worse places than underground tunnels. "No need to be polite. We have plenty of rooms on this spaceship. Although only about 100 people are needed to operate it, it can comfortably house 300. Even if we squeeze a little, 700 or 800 people would be fine," Zhao Wanner proudly said, as if she was describing her own home. Soon, they arrived at the dormitory area. "This is the place where you will stay next. The beds and blankets have been arranged for you, and there are clothes for changing on each bed. This is a temporary ID badge. From now on, you can go to the bathhouse to bathe and to the dining hall to eat at scheduled times," Zhao Wanner explained. Lilith looked at the dormitory in front of her. She surprisingly felt unable to move her feet. Such a clean and bright room. How could it be her sleeping place? Moreover, right after entering the door, there is a private bathroom on the left. She had never heard of a spaceship dormitory with a private bathroom. Usually, a whole dormitory area shares one bathroom, and the environment is often poor. The room itself was quite large, about 40 to 50 square meters, with 4 or 5 bunk beds. But these bunk beds had the lower levels used as desks. The aisle between beds was at least 1 meter wide. Spacious, clean, tidy, and convenient. It was hard to believe this was a spaceship dormitory. Lilith couldn't help but marvel again. What kind of divine spaceship is this? After settling the succubi, Zhao Wanner went to the control panel on the other side of the spaceship workshop. There, Zhao Chun was planning the next spaceship construction, moving his hands over the holographic projection in front of him, adjusting various parameters. "Hey, bringing those succubi back. What evil purpose do you have?" Zhao Wanner looked at Zhao Chun as if she were judging a criminal. Zhao Chun paused his work and said helplessly, "Hey, I'm just doing a good deed. Don't you see those succubi are quite pitiful?" Zhao Wanner narrowed her eyes at Zhao Chun. "They are indeed pitiful, but I don't believe you only brought them back because of their pity. There are many poor people in the Arctic Fox starport," she added. Seeing that Zhao Chun couldn't hide it from her, he gave up and smiled. "Well, those are succubi. I know, you men like beautiful women." Zhao Wanner crossed her arms and snorted. "Uft am I that? What I mean is, those succubi are very smart." Zhao Chun raised his hand and displayed detailed information about the succubi race, especially highlighting their strong learning ability and intelligence, marked with red lines. Zhao Wanner guessed Zhao Chen's intention. "You want to gather them together?" "Exactly. Right now, I lack talent. Those half-beast female crew members are qualified interstellar soldiers, But in some tasks, they are not suitable. For example, Charlotte. She would be great in combat, but managing the fleet's affairs? That's a mess. The demon race is good at management, and they have good memories, so they can handle many jobs. They are perfect for clerical work on the spaceship, Zhao Chun said with bright eyes. This is real talent. Zhao Chun needs talent the most right now, and it has to be women. That's what you say, but are you really just doing this for that purpose? Zhao Wanner looked at Zhao Chun with suspicion. Zhao Chun rolled his eyes. Hey, I am still your brother, after all. If I were that kind of person, would I have touched a single female half-beast soldier in these months? Not really, but those demons are very charming. Just looking at them makes me feel tempted. Who knows if you'll turn out to be worse than a beast? Zhao Wanner snorted. All right, I won't argue with you anymore. Go home early and rest. You have to catch the interstellar cruise early tomorrow morning to return to the Northern Star Starship Military Academy, Zhao Chun said. Are you really not coming back with me? Zhao Wanner asked. Zhao Chun pointed at the holographic starship designs in front of him. Look, do you think I might go back? What kind of starship is this? Zhao Wanner asked curiously. Zhao Chun smiled mysteriously. It's something that could build us an interstellar fleet in the future. Zhao Wanner wanted to tease him further. A minimum interstellar fleet needs at least 30 starships, and he only has 2. Thinking about building a fleet seems a bit exaggerated. But considering Zhao Chun assembled the number 0 Blizzard, built the T2 Queen-class heavy carrier starship, nothing he does is small. Maybe he really can do it? All right then, I'll wait for you at the Northern Star Starship Military Academy, Zhao Wanner said, glaring at Zhao Chun. But I warn you, if I find out you're bullying those demons, be careful. She made a scissors gesture with her hand and then turned to leave. Where did this girl learn all these things? Zhao Chun muttered. Then he focused on his work. As for the succubi, they need to be kept for a while to be tamed. There's no rush. Since they have boarded his starship, they won't have a chance to leave this ship now. Half a day passed. The system notification sounded in his mind, pulling Zhao Chun's thoughts back. He put down his work and opened the system page. 2 pop-up windows appeared. Quarterly task. Build and own 3 different T2 or higher-level starships, system produced. So, it was the quarterly task that appeared. Zhao Chun glanced at the time. It was already October. It seems this quarterly task is issued every 3 months. There are no penalties for not completing it, but if not done, it will be automatically canceled, though the rewards are generous. This is one of the best ways to earn system rewards. Looking at the other pop-up. Monthly points, 80 points. Zhao Chun's system points surprisingly increased by 80. He checked and found it was passive income from the T2 Queen Bee. As mentioned before, there are several ways to earn system points. Besides completing system tasks, passive income from owning system starships is another way. The T2 Queen Bee was commissioned at the beginning of September, so in October, he could claim the monthly points, which accumulated to 80 points daily. The more starships he owns, the more points he earns. Higher-level starships give more points. That's the idea. That's great. The more starships I have in the future, the more system points I can earn without doing tasks, Zhao Chun thought happily. A week passed quickly. The day after the succubus Lily was upgraded to T2 Queen Bee, Zhao Wanner took a star cruiser back to the Northern Star Starship Military Academy. All the raw materials Zhao Chun ordered had arrived, and he began the long process of building starships again. During these 5 days, one person was deeply anxious. That was Lily, the succubus. She originally thought that the next day, the man would come to see her and reveal his purpose. But unexpectedly, the man didn't come the next day, and Miss Zhao Wanner also left. On the 3rd day, the man still did not appear. On the 4th day, he still did not appear. On the 5th day, Lily was surprised to find she had gotten used to life on the spaceship. Every day, she woke up with the female soldiers, made her bed, washed up, and then went to the dining hall to eat. The rest of the time, they helped clean the spaceship, even though cleaning robots usually took care of that. But they didn't want to stay idle, so they looked for things to do on their own. Gradually, they became familiar with the half-orc female crew members and learned that life here was quite good. The captain never forced them to do anything. On the 6th day, Lily started feeling anxious. The more she adapted to her current life, the more anxious she became, especially because the man still hadn't appeared. That night, she couldn't sleep. On the 7th day, Lily lay on the soft bed, staring at the ceiling for a long time, unable to fall asleep. She hadn't slept in a proper bed for a long time. Sometimes, just having a place to rest protected from the weather was enough. On the first day, many succubi couldn't sleep either, and some ended up sleeping on the floor to get some rest. Lily also noticed that the feeling of anxiety was appearing in other succubi. She understood what that look meant. They really didn't want to lose their current life. This life was what they dreamed of. On the 8th day, Lily, with dark circles under her eyes, went to the spaceship's dining hall and ordered her favorite dumplings, then sat down. Soon, someone placed a plate of dumplings in front of her and sat across from her. Lily looked up and saw the person across from her. It was the man who had been missing for 7 days, the man she had waited for all that time. "Tell me, where do you want to go next? I can take you there," Zhao Chun said casually while eating his dumplings. His voice was loud enough for all the succubi in the dining hall to hear. For them, this was like a bolt from the blue, an icy shock. Suddenly, the delicious food in front of them lost all its appeal. Her name was Bessie, a succubus. She heard from her companions that they came from a demon queen kingdom, but it was taken over by evil invaders, and they had to run away. Since she can remember, she has been fleeing. On the planet, on the spaceship, and in many other places. They had to hide their true identities and could not show themselves to others. Their sleeping places were mostly dark, damp, full of bugs and bad smells. They usually ate artificial food, and it was rare to have a proper meal every 2 or 3 days. She saw some of her friends starve to death right in front of her. Several times, they almost got caught by evil people or were defeated by hunger. Fortunately, their sister Lily was very brave. She always helped them escape danger and find food. But one day, a group of people attacked the underground tunnels where they hid. Just when they were in great danger, a very strong man appeared. He easily defeated all the bad guys and took them to his spaceship. She had never seen such a beautiful spaceship. Here, they didn't need to hide who they were because most of the people she saw were female half-beasts. Lily had told her that demon girls must be very careful around men. Men are dangerous and can be very harmful. Later, a kind and gentle young woman took them to take a bath. It was her first time bathing in clean, warm water. Before, they could only wipe themselves with dirty water. When she felt the water flowing over her body, she liked the feeling very much. It wasn't just about bathing. There was also a bathhouse where she could relax and enjoy soaking in the water. Afterward, they were taken to a restaurant. The kind young woman told them they could order anything they wanted. Looking at the menu, she felt unfamiliar with the names because she had only eaten artificial food before. The few times she ate natural food, it was just small cookies or some wild animals caught outside on the planet. Finally, she chose a dish that looked like it had a lot of meat. When a big plate of meat was brought to her, the delicious smell and the taste when she chewed made her feel incredible. For the first time, she realized that eating was not just about staying alive, but could be such a wonderful experience. Afterward, they were taken to a very clean room. There was a soft, comfortable bed, clean bedding, and even a private bathroom. The clothes were neat and smelled faintly fresh. Everyone had their own space, so they didn't have to squeeze into a small area. Everything seemed so wonderful. It felt like a dream. If it really was a dream, Betsy truly wished she could never wake up. For a whole week, they lived on this spaceship, staying in clean rooms, eating delicious food. They also helped the crew with small chores, like cleaning the ship. Today, the man who brought them here appeared again. But what he said made her feel like dark whispers from a deep abyss. "Tell me, where do you want to go next? I can take you there." Betsy's eyes went blank. The meat she loved to eat suddenly lost its appeal. All she could think was, they want to leave here. They want to go back to their old life. No, she didn't want that. What do you mean? Lilith looked at the man in front of her, confused. Zhao Qin said, "I've arranged for tickets on a starship. I can send you to any planet or spaceport you want." Lilith looked stunned. She didn't know what to say. His words surprised her completely. Suddenly, a charming demoness acted quickly. She grabbed a fork from her plate and pressed it against her throat. "I'm not going anywhere. I won't go anywhere." Betsy, tears in her eyes and trembling voice, looked at Zhao Chun. "Betsy, what are you doing? Put the fork down." Lilith looked at her youngest companion. According to Demon Clan age, Betsy was still a minor. The young demoness ignored Lilith. She looked at Zhao Chun and asked, "Why?" "Lilith's sister, I don't want to. I don't want to go back to that life again. I don't want to drink that black water anymore. I don't want to hide in dark, gloomy places. I don't want to live every day in fear. I don't want to go hungry and scrape moss off the walls, eat dirt, or find anything to fill my stomach. Then, I have to endure the pain in my belly in the corner. I don't want to fight terrifying beasts on the barren planet just for a little food. I don't want to see our friends fall in battle. Little demon Beth sobbed as she looked around. She forced a sad smile and said, "Here. I finally realized that. Living is actually a very enjoyable thing. Living can be enjoyable?" That sentence is very bitter, but for demons living in darkness, just staying alive is very hard, let alone enjoying life. Many demons present were crying with red, swollen eyes. Some older demons continued eating their food carefully, chewing each grain of rice because it might be the last time they enjoy such good food in their lives. They will return to darkness. Little demon Beth's eyes turned red as she stared at Zhao Chun. She cried out hysterically, "If you're going to send us away, why are you still so kind to us? Why did you let us experience this kind of life? Give us clean clothes, warm water, food, and soft beds. Why did you show us that? We can live happily? You showed us the light, and now you want to push us back into darkness again." As she spoke, Beth's fork and knife fell to the ground. She collapsed and covered her face, crying. Lilith, feeling mixed emotions, stepped forward and hugged Beth. She felt guilty but also helpless. Zhao Chun looked at the emotionally overwhelmed demons in front of him. He knew he had achieved his goal. In fact, they could have endured darkness, as long as they had never seen the light. But Zhao Chun took them onto the spaceship, giving them a life of happiness they could never have imagined. This was like a bright light shining into their dark lives. But now, Zhao Chun's words meant that this light was about to disappear. For them, this was very cruel. "Actually, if you don't want to leave, you don't have to," Zhao Chun said calmly. At that moment, all 18 succubi looked at Zhao Chun. Even Lilith's eyes showed a kind of hope. "You can become my crew, just like those Orc crew members." "Fight for me," Zhao Chun said. Lilith was stunned. She didn't expect such a choice, to fight for a human. It was something she had never thought about. Because, in the eyes of humans, succubi are not seen as space warriors, but just as objects for entertainment. "I'll give you some time to think. You can finish this meal. If you choose freedom, leave through the back door of the dining hall. Someone will help you go to any planet or space station you want. If you want to stay here, go to the front door of the dining hall. Someone will record your information, and from then on, you will be my crew." Zhao Chun finished speaking, wiped his mouth, and stood up to leave the dining hall. He had already given these succubi a choice, and he already knew the answer. As Zhao Chun left, little Bessie, the young succubus, immediately wiped her tears and ran to the front door without hesitation. No matter what, she wanted to stay. If she couldn't stay here, she would rather die. Other succubi also started walking toward the front door one after another. "Big Sister Lilith, let's stay," another succubus said, approaching Lilith, who had been silent, holding her hand and trying to persuade her. Lilith bit her lip gently, then quickly relaxed. She had been thinking about freedom before. But what could she do after leaving? Like little Bessie said, hide and run? Continue living a life of hunger and uncertainty? Go ahead first. "I'll come later," Lilith said, patting the succubus's head, then quickly walking toward the direction Zhao Chun had left. Walking down the corridor of the spaceship, Zhao Chun heard footsteps behind him. He knew he had succeeded. "Wait a moment." Lilith stopped Zhao Chun and stood in front of him. "Is there something you want?" Zhao Chun asked. Lilith looked at Zhao Chun and asked, "What is your real goal? Using a comfortable life to tempt us? What do you want to get from us? Just to make us your interstellar soldiers?" "I've already told you my goal," Zhao Chun shrugged. Lilith looked at him with doubt. Zhao Chun knew that if he didn't give her a satisfying answer, she wouldn't believe him easily. "Honestly, my fleet has just been built. It has only 2 starships, with about 800 interstellar soldiers, all of whom are half-orcs. Half-orcs are good at operating starships and fighting, but they are not good at managing the ship's internal affairs or fleet matters. I lack talented people, and you succubi are just the talent I need. Of course, I will also evaluate and train you later." Zhao Chun shared his thoughts. "Are you really valuing not our bodies, but our abilities?" Lilith was a bit surprised. She didn't expect anyone to remember the talents of succubi. "You are very attractive and tempting, but I won't force anyone to do something they don't like. If you choose to leave, I won't stop you, Zhao Chun said with a smile. That was the truth. Lilith bit her lip lightly and said, then you know, if you recruit us and the news spreads that succubi serve on your starship, it will cause you and your fleet a lot of trouble. Trouble? Zhao Chun smiled slightly, then became serious. If anyone dares to bother my crew, I will be the biggest trouble in their life. Zhao Chun was good at many things, but he had one flaw. You're really a strange person, but you've convinced me. Lilith looked at Zhao Chun. I am willing to work for you, but I can't say I am completely loyal to you yet. Zhao Chun smiled and said, I don't need your loyalty. I just want you to work here sincerely, for all of us, and for your own life. Actually, Zhao Chun didn't care much about loyalty, as long as they got used to and accepted life here. By that time, loyalty wouldn't matter anymore, because they were already completely dependent on all of this. Zhao Chun gave them light. He was their light. They naturally followed the light. So what should we do next? Lilith quickly got into her role. Zhao Chun handed her a handheld device. There are some study materials inside. Take it and learn together with your people. In a month, I will test you. This test will determine your future roles in my fleet. To be straightforward, it's about your living conditions here, whether you get to eat meat every meal. Lilith took the device and smiled. With your explanation, I believe they will study the materials well. The succubus is very good at learning. After dealing with the succubus for now, Zhao Chun returned to the construction workshop of the T2 Iron Hammer Heavy Starship. The frame of the T2 Iron Hammer is now laid out, but it will still take a long time to see the whole ship finished. Our quarterly goal is 3 different types of T2 starships. I already have a T2 Queen-class heavy carrier. With this T2 Iron Hammer, to finish the task by the end of December, we need to build 1 more T2 starship. Zhao Chun didn't want to miss the rewarding quarterly task. Inside the Arctic Fox starport, in the underground pipeline where Zhao Chun took the succubus earlier, a team was using flashlights to explore and found bodies in the pipeline, along with signs of someone living there. A young man covered his nose, looking around with disgust. Big brother, we found the bodies of a few rats. Half of them died from heavy blows, and the other half were probably stabbed in the throat after being badly injured. The enemy acted very decisively. We also didn't find any trace of the target succubus, the team reported as they approached the man. I knew the rats had gone missing these days. Turns out something happened here. The succubus we've been looking for is also gone. This was a task given to us by our Black Fox Society leader, who warned us repeatedly. We spent thousands of star coins to get this clue, and it wasn't easy. Who is this person? How dare they steal food from our Black Fox Society at the Arctic Fox starport? The young man's eyes flashed with a cold light. Find out. Send someone to check every exit of this underground pipeline for clues. Make sure to discover who took the Enchantress away. A month passed quickly. Zhao Chun's T2 Iron Hammer class heavy starship construction was mostly finished. It looks like I need to find soldiers who can build starships, or else I'll have to do all the work myself. I'll get exhausted eventually, Zhao Chun said, covered in grease, looking at the new ship in front of him. He smiled and said, Brother, with you here, I won't have so much work pressure anymore. Captain. At this moment, a gentle female voice came from behind Zhao Chun. He turned around and was immediately pleased. She was dressed in a neat, pure white military uniform. The skirt was short, just above her knees, and she wore white long socks on her legs. Because she was an enchantress, the skirt and the back of her top had special openings, allowing her tail and small wings to show. The enchantress, already charming, looked even more attractive in this outfit. Zhao Chun truly experienced what it meant to be tempted by uniform charm. He also felt grateful to his younger sister. This uniform was designed and made by his sister, Zhao Wan'er. Considering the special nature of Zhao Chun's fleet, the uniform style wasn't fixed. Only the fabric and general design were consistent, so people could tell they were part of the same series at first glance. Depending on the soldier's body shape and features, some variations could be made. After all, Zhao Chun's soldiers are either half-beasts or enchantresses. Captain, Lily's voice called Zhao Chun again. He snapped out of his thoughts, realizing he had been a bit distracted. He quickly pretended to be calm and asked, Is there something you need? You asked us to learn the content earlier. We've finished studying it all. When will the assessment start? Lily asked. Zhao Qin remembered what he had told her a month ago. Let's do it today. Gather all the enchantresses in the Starship conference room. Yes, Lily replied. When Lilith just left, Charlotte appeared. Actually, Charlotte arrived here in the first week of October, piloting the Zero snowstorm. Lilith greeted Charlotte with a salute and then left. They had met a few times during this period. Maybe because they share similar fates, they quickly became good friends who understand each other. It's clear that the succubi have gotten used to life here, Charlotte said as she walked over to Zhao Chun. Now, they were quite familiar with each other, like old friends. How do you feel about my arrangements? Are you satisfied? Zhao Chun asked, glancing up and down at Charlotte's military uniform. Because Charlotte is the vice commander, her outfit has some small differences in details, but overall it's similar: a white top, a white short skirt, and white long socks. However, when Lilith wears it, it has a tempting feel, while Charlotte looks like a brave female general. It's two very different visual impressions. There are rumors that succubi have strong learning and management abilities because of their talents. But you know, most people focus on their looks, and few have actually tested their abilities. Probably only you would recruit succubi as your Starship female soldiers. If others found out, they would say you're wasting talent, Charlotte teased. Zhao Qin smiled and said, letting them play their roles properly is the real value. Charlotte looked at Zhao Chun, who was building the T2 Hammer-class heavy Starship industrial vessel. Your Starship industrial ship is almost finished, right? Within a month at most, it will be completed. During this time, keep an eye out for some Beastmen soldiers with skills in Starship manufacturing and repair. The same as before, they must be female, Zhao Chun replied. I think you really have some special preferences, Charlotte said suspiciously, glancing up and down. It's strange. On our Starship, there are hundreds of women. Not all are stunning, but they're pretty good-looking. And your human race seems to like female Beastmen, right? What do you call us? Beast-eared girls? Charlotte asked doubtfully. Zhao Chun said seriously, come on, we've known each other for 3 or 4 months. Don't you already know what kind of person I am? Charlotte suddenly leaned forward and whispered in Zhao Chen's ear, Captain, are you feeling okay? Zhao Chen paused, then immediately snapped back. What do you mean, not feeling well? If you're brave enough to come to my room tonight, I'll show you what a real electric toy is. Charlotte wasn't angry at Zhao Chen's suggestive words. As a former captain herself, she had worked with many tough men and had heard plenty of coarse talk before. But she wasn't ready to flirt with Zhao Chen just yet. Let's get to the point, she said. You're building this interstellar industrial ship. Are you planning to keep building more starships in the future? Zhao Chen nodded. My current goal is to build a fleet of starships. That means we have a few issues to solve. Right now, we have 2 ships, but in the future, there will be 3. We need to decide on a name. Should we call ourselves the Shadow Dragon Fleet, based on your territory, or choose a different name? Also, we haven't decided on a badge for the fleet, Charlotte said. Hearing this, Zhao Chen thought about it and agreed. Now that the fleet uniforms are ready, other supplies also need to be prepared. I think the fleet should be called the Shadow Dragon Fleet. As for the badge, let's use the same dragon emblem that my great-grandfather's generation used, Zhao Chen said. He took out a badge with a dragon symbol from his device. Shadow Dragon Fleet, Shadow Dragon Badge. From now on, we'll call ourselves the Shadow Dragon Fleet, Charlotte said, memorizing the badge design so she could have it painted on the ships later. Charlotte continued, there's one more thing. Even though we only have 2 starships now, you should consider which one will be the flagship. The flagship is the main ship of the fleet, the most important one. Zhao Chen replied, we haven't decided on a flagship yet, since we don't have many ships. But he already had a plan in mind. The flagship would be the T3 Blizzard-class light star cruiser stored in his system warehouse. Unfortunately, it's not ready to launch yet. But Zhao Chun was determined. The first flagship of the Shadow Dragon Fleet must be a T3 starship. Honestly, in the Xiaolong star system, the term Xiaolong Fleet is quite rare. Since the Zhao family declined, the family starships in the territory have never called themselves the Xiaolong Fleet, which has caused this emblem to fade into silence. Zhao Chen looked at the emblem and thought of his grandfather, who endured many hardships and achieved great success, building the Zhao family into what it is today. He wants to make this Xiaolong emblem shine again across the Star Empire and have the name of the Xiaolong Fleet spread throughout the universe. In the conference room of the T2 Queen B-class heavy carrier starship, 18 succubi were standing ready. The exam begins now. You have 3 hours to complete the questions in front of you, Zhao Chun said to the 18 succubi. Each had a holographic screen displaying their exam questions. At the moment Zhao Chun announced the start, none of the succubi spoke. They all focused seriously on their tasks. These questions were all provided by Zhao Chen's sister, Zhao Wanner, who found them from the civil service courses at the Northern Star Starship Military Academy. They were 6th grade level questions. Previously, Zhao Chun had given Lily and the others materials from the same academy, which covered the theoretical knowledge 6th-year students in the Naval Civil Service Department needed to learn. But Zhao Chun only gave them 1 month to prepare. During this month, the succubi studied every day while eating, sleeping, and bathing. Today was the day to test their abilities. Time passed slowly. Some succubi remained calm, some frowned in thought, and others looked anxious. The 3 hours quickly came to an end. Everyone stop all activities. I will receive your exam answers. The results will be announced in a few hours. You may now leave the conference room and go about your business, Zhao Chun said seriously. Although the exam was over, none of the succubi dared to relax. They all waited outside the conference room, on high alert. Little succubus Betsy held Lily's hand and whispered, "Lily, sister, if we don't do well on this test, will the captain kick us out?" Although Captain Zhao Chun only mentioned that the assessment would affect their future positions on the starship, he did not say whether failing the test would result in being dismissed. So, they have been nervous for the past month. It's okay. You all worked very hard. I believe your assessments are fine, Lilith comforted them. An hour later, Zhao Chun came out and opened the door. All 18 succubi looked at Zhao Chun with feelings of tension, anxiety, and fear. I will now announce the results of the assessment rankings. First place, Lilith. Everyone expected Lilith to be first because she has the highest talent among all of them. Second place, Macy. 6th place, Bessie. When Bessie heard her ranking, she sighed in relief. At least she was 6th and not last. The few succubi who ranked at the bottom looked nervous now, unsure of what to do, and some even covered their faces and cried, regretting not working harder. After Zhao Chun finished reading the rankings, he looked around and said, "Everyone's scores are passing." Hearing this, the ones at the bottom took a deep breath. One succubus asked carefully, "Captain, can we stay here too?" "Of course," Zhao Chun replied with a smile. Actually, whether they do well in the assessment or not, and whether they can stay, depends entirely on Zhao Chun's decision. The assessment was just a formality, but I have to say, they performed really well. In just 1 month, even the worst-performing succubus was at the level of a 4th-year student in the civilian department of the Northern Star Starship Military Academy. Lilith even scored the highest, surpassing the passing score of the Academy by several points. I will now announce your future job positions. Lilith will serve as my secretary. Macy will serve on the bridge of the Zero Storm ship. Zhao Chun announced each person's role, all within the starship's civilian positions. Lilith's role is the highest. The secretary is considered the second-in-command in a fleet, just below the fleet commander. On a starship, it is also one of the top 3 people in power, on par with the vice captain. Me, secretary? Lily was also surprised. Yes, this is because of your deserved abilities. I hope you will work seriously in the future. If we encounter other charm demons, you can recruit them just like Charlotte, Zhao Chun said. Lily looked at Zhao Chun in surprise. She didn't expect him to value her so much. Captain, I will work hard, Betty said excitedly. Being able to stay here is the happiest thing for them. Thus, Lily and the other charm demons officially joined the Shadow Dragon fleet. In the last few days of November, Zhao Chen's T2 Iron Hammer-class heavy starship industrial ship was officially completed. The emblem of the Shadow Dragon fleet appeared on its hull. With this, I can build our starships faster and more, Zhao Chen said happily as he looked at the T2 Iron Hammer. He then looked at Charlotte and asked, "How is the task I asked you to do going?" During this time, according to your requirements, I have gathered 200 half-orc crew members experienced in starship manufacturing and repair, Charlotte reported. Good. Starting tomorrow, let them board the ship and begin training to quickly master the T2 Iron Hammer, Zhao Chun said excitedly. But Charlotte then poured cold water on him. Captain, although we now have the T2 Iron Hammer, our fleet's funds may not be enough to build another starship. We sold the wreckage of the Three-Claw Serpent Star Pirate Fleet starship and got 400,000 star coins. Including our remaining funds, we now have a total of 900,000 star coins. 900,000 star coins are indeed not enough to cover the materials needed to build another starship. Zhao Chen scratched his head, surprised that after just a few months, they were already short of money again. He needed to find a way to earn more. But there was less than a month left before the quarterly mission deadline. He didn't have much time left. System task triggered. Accept and complete the bounty mission issued by the Arctic Fox Galaxy Lord. Do you want to accept this task? Declining will cost 300 system points. At this moment, another system task appeared, seemingly related to the Arctic Fox Galaxy. Originally, Zhao Chen did not want to accept the task, but after seeing the cost of the 300 system points for refusing, he decided to take it. Task details. Accept and complete the bounty mission issued by the Lord of the Arctic Fox Star System difficulty level. See reward. 5 task points and 1,000 points special reward. A random reward based on the level of completion failure penalty. Deduction of 1,000 system points. Zhao Chen glanced at the system task and immediately asked Charlotte to check if there were any bounty missions issued in the Arctic Fox Star System. Do you know about this? Charlotte looked at Zhao Chen in surprise. What are you talking about? Zhao Chen looked at Charlotte, seeming to realize she knew something. Charlotte said, just now, the entire Arctic Fox Starport broadcasted a message requesting private fleets and adventurer fleets to accept a bounty mission. The mission is to protect a remote asteroid base in the Arctic Fox Star System, where a space insect nest has appeared. A small fleet of Imperial ships has already gone to support, but the number of interstellar insects inside the nest is large, and the battle is not going well. The Lord's fleet of the Arctic Fox Star System and other Imperial ships will take a day to arrive, but from here, it only takes 3 hours to get there. The mission requires protecting the 5 million residents on that asteroid base during their evacuation. Zhao Chen's eyes widened. The interstellar insects are creatures that seem to appear out of nowhere. There is no information about them. All that is known is that they are instinctively aggressive and will subconsciously devour any living beings within their perception, even fighting among themselves. If they arrive on a planet, it will be a disaster for all life there. Interstellar insects usually appear with the emergence of cosmic insect nests. So far, there is no scientific explanation for the appearance of these cosmic nests. They are also called cosmic gaps, starry rifts, and other names. It's as if a suddenly appears in the universe, and then the interstellar insects emerge from it, attacking nearby planets. If not stopped, these insects will consume all life on a planet, reproduce more insects, and then spread to nearby planets and star systems. The existence of cosmic insect holes varies in duration. Some last longer, some shorter, and they come in different sizes. The interstellar insect armies that emerge from these holes also differ in scale. In this area, researchers in the Galactic Alliance have developed a system to classify these insect holes. They categorize cosmic insect holes from low to high levels. Level 1, Level 2, Level 3. The classification standards are similar to T1 and T2 technology levels. During battles with the interstellar insect armies, it has been observed that some individual insect groups are as powerful as starships. These powerful groups are called Hive Mother ships. Hive Mother ships carry large numbers of insect soldiers to fight and conquer planets. Zhao Chen recalled the knowledge he learned at the Northern Star Starship Military Academy about these insects. Do we have detailed information about this mission? Zhao Chen asked Charlotte. Charlotte shook her head. I only heard some general news. I don't know the full details. Zhao Chen thought for a moment and then said to Charlotte, go prepare immediately. Arrange for Zero Storm and the T2 Queen-class heavy carrier starship to carry full supplies, and get ready to depart as quickly as possible. Depart? Where to? Charlotte asked, just after speaking. She suddenly realized and looked at Zhao Chen in surprise. Captain, you don't mean. Just follow my instructions. I will find out more information about this. After giving the order, Zhao Chen headed straight to the bridge of the T2 Queen. Meanwhile, Charlotte went to give the mission to Zero Storm. While Zhao Wanner was away, the two of them were responsible for these two starships. After arriving at the bridge, Zhao Chen immediately contacted someone. Hello, Mr. Zhao Chen. I am the head of Starport CC-11. How can I assist you? The female manager, whom he had met 3 times, smiled as she looked at him. Do you know about the cosmic insect holes? The female manager was surprised, then nodded. Are you referring to the incident near asteroid P331? If your star system hasn't experienced 2 cosmic insect holes, then it must be that one, Zhao Chen said. If you want detailed information, you can go to the headquarters of the Northern Fox Starport to get the report, she replied. I don't have much time. I need to quickly gather all the information about this task, and I must accept it as soon as possible, Zhao Chen said. Are you going to take this task? The female leader was surprised. It had been half an hour since the bounty was posted, and the main commander of Xingang personally questioned several private fleets and adventurer fleets stationed there, but no one was willing to accept. Yes, Zhao Chen replied. The female leader said, accepting the task is fine, but according to the procedure, we need to register your fleet first and… Zhao Chen interrupted, I want it done as fast as possible. Finish everything within 10 minutes. 10 minutes? The female leader looked worried. These steps are necessary, partly for your fleet's safety. Your account has received 1,000 star coins. Suddenly, she received a message confirming the payment. She glanced at it and exchanged a knowing look with Zhao Chen via the hologram. Because this task is special, we can use an emergency channel. I'll try to contact someone and get back to you within 10 minutes. Meanwhile, I will send you all the intelligence about the task, she said quickly before cutting off communication and going to arrange the emergency process. As expected, money makes things easier everywhere. Zhao Chen ignored the distraction and started reviewing the task information she sent. This happened 3 hours ago in a remote part of the Arctic Fox star system, where a second-level cosmic insect nest suddenly appeared. After learning this, the Lord of the Arctic Fox star system immediately ordered the fleet to go and eliminate the alien insects. However, most of the Imperial Army stationed there had been reassigned not long ago. The Lord's fleet was sent to another border battlefield to carry out a small operation. Now, only a small Imperial fleet was stationed in the star system, and they had already headed toward the incident site. But the insect swarm was too large, and this small fleet alone couldn't suppress them. The Arctic Fox star system immediately requested help from nearby star systems and the governor of the North Wind star domain. The North Wind star region is one of the 8 major star regions of the Starshine Empire. It includes 63 star systems, such as the Howling Dragon star system, the Northern star system, and the Arctic Fox star system. However, it takes time to send reinforcements to the battlefield. The fastest reinforcements will arrive in at least 10 hours. According to high-level simulations in the Arctic Fox star system, within these 10 hours, the interstellar insect swarm will affect planets with people, including 3 small planets and 1 satellite, with a total population of 70 million. The first to be attacked will be the 5 million residents on the P331 small planet. Currently, there are 2 opinions among the leaders of the Arctic Fox star system. One is to abandon P331 and retreat to other more populated planets, waiting for reinforcements. The other is to abandon P331, but ensure all 5 million residents evacuate. The latter opinion is held by the commander of the only remaining Imperial fleet controlling that area. He decided to head straight for P331 without waiting for approval and requested immediate deployment of star transport ships to evacuate the residents. However, system calculations show that this fleet alone cannot evacuate all 5 million people from P331 before the insect swarm attacks. So, the fleet commander came up with an idea. Since both the Lord fleet and the Imperial forces cannot arrive in time, they should seek help from civilian fleets. This led to the current bounty mission. The reward is 500,000 star coins, and the fleet commander guarantees that all losses and expenses of the starships during the battle will be covered by the Empire. Zhao Chen rubbed his chin. He wasn't really concerned about saving people. He wouldn't risk his 2 starships and their crews just to save others. He didn't see himself as a hero. The bodies of the insect swarm are valuable because they contain many resources, like moving treasure chests. Unfortunately, Zhao Chen is currently short on money. Plus, there's the system's mission. Arctic Fox Starport, Interstellar Mission Headquarters, sir. Calling us here is useless. This is a second-level universe insect nest, with at least 3 T2 insect hive motherships and over 30 T1 insect hive motherships. With just our small fleet of explorers, we can't possibly hold them off for more than a few hours. Although the bounty is a full 500,000 star coins, you need to be alive to claim it. Everyone knows that dealing with bugs is dangerous. If you're not careful, your entire spaceship could be destroyed. They won't give you a chance to surrender or become a prisoner. It's just 5 million people who might die. I think it's better to retreat to the smaller P-300 asteroid behind us, which has 2 million people. Defending there would only take about 2 hours, and the fastest rescue team could arrive in time. On the other hand, at the P-331 asteroid, we would need to withstand at least 3 hours of interstellar bug attacks to ensure the safe evacuation of those 5 million people. The risk is too high. In a room, the head of the Arctic Fox starport looked worried as he watched the 3 commanders of the port's largest private fleet. All 3 refused the mission for various reasons. I'll personally add another 100,000 star coins. Won't you reconsider? This isn't about fighting the bugs to the death. Just delay for 3 hours. Maybe 2 hours is enough, he urged. Forget 600,000 star coins. If someone wants to do this for 1 million, let them. I won't do it. It's strange. The fleet commander who took his ships to evacuate 5 million people from P-331 without permission. Has he lost his mind? Really, why not just have the Lord of the Arctic Fox star system order him to withdraw his fleet? That would be simple, one person said with a shrug. The head of the starport sighed deeply, feeling helpless. His superior, the Lord of the star system, naturally wanted the fleet to withdraw. Although the Imperial fleet wasn't directly under his command, as a lord of a territory, he still held some authority. Moreover, the Lord of the Arctic Fox star system was a count, and the system was one of the most prosperous in the North Wind star domain, so his status was quite high. But the commander of the Imperial fleet had an even more important identity. The leader of the Arctic Fox star system said that even if 5 million people, plus the total of 70 million from the other planets, all died, he wouldn't care. But if that commander were to get into trouble, it would cause a big problem. At this moment, the head of Arctic Fox starport received a message on his device. When he saw the content, he was very happy. Hey, you say there are fleets willing to take on this bounty mission? The 3 people present heard the excited words of the head of Arctic Fox starport and looked at each other in surprise. None of them dared to take this task. Who would be foolish enough to accept it? Procedures are incomplete? No problem. Right now, in this critical time, we simplify all the processes. If they can leave immediately, that would be best, said the head of the starport. He thought for a moment and suddenly asked, who are they? How many starships do they have? The Black Dragon fleet? Currently, at our starport, there are only 2 starships? The head of Arctic Fox starport was stunned. The 3 people nearby muttered about this name. They had never heard of such a figure in the entire North Wind star domain. And only 2 starships? Maybe most of their ships aren't docked at the port, but still, who dares to take on this task? Forget it, no matter what fleet they are. Tell them to leave immediately. If they complete this mission successfully, Arctic Fox starport will give them an extra 100,000. No, 200,000 star coins as a reward, said the head of the starport. He looked at the 3 people and asked again, are you 3 really sure? This bounty doesn't limit the number of people. Maybe you all could go together. Forget it. Such an easy task. Let's leave it to that Black Dragon fleet, one of them said with a sneer. I want to see if they can successfully evacuate those 5 million people, another added, with a tone full of doubt and disbelief. T2 Queen-class heavy carrier starship bridge Mr. Zhao Chun, we have registered you here. You have accepted this mission. Additionally, we have added a reward of 200,000 star coins. If you complete this task, you will receive a total of 700,000 star coins, the female leader said via video call to Zhao Chun. Okay, thank you, Zhao Chun replied. Safe travels and come back victorious, the female leader wished. Zhao Chun looked at the other side of the video call window, which was Charlotte. What's going on with the Black Dragon fleet? Charlotte asked curiously. Zhao Chun explained, the registration for the mission requires a name. I thought about it and decided not to use the name of the Xianlong fleet, as that might be too showy. So, publicly, we'll go by the name Black Dragon Fleet. After explaining, Zhao Chun looked at Charlotte and asked, why aren't you curious about why I insisted on taking this mission? Charlotte said, taking on a mission is your decision as the fleet commander. As your subordinate, my only job is to fight. Honestly, Charlotte is a very capable starship officer. Right now, the T2 Queen Bee and Zero Storm are leaving the Arctic Fox starport, with some time before entering faster-than-light travel. Zhao Chun continued, "Do you think we have much chance of winning if we just do this mission?" Charlotte's expression became serious. She raised her hand and displayed a hologram of the mission details. This is a Level 2 cosmic insect nest. If there are more than 3 T2 Hive motherships and 30 T1 Hive motherships, we don't have much chance of winning because those bugs. We don't have interstellar supply ships now. Even if we use all our ammunition, we might not be able to destroy them all. But if we just delay and buy time to evacuate the 5 million people on that P331 asteroid, the difficulty drops significantly. I'd say about an 80% chance of success. That high? I thought you'd think I was being too risky, Zhao Chen said, surprised by Charlotte's judgment. Charlotte replied, "If it were just 2 ordinary T2 starships, the chance of success would be less than 30%. But your 2 starships are not ordinary T2 ships. Also, I've encountered the cosmic bugs a few times. As long as it's not a large-scale invasion, the threat isn't that serious." With Charlotte's words, Zhao Chen felt much more confident. Faster-than-light engine route prepped. Next, we will enter the acceleration phase, and in 10 minutes, we will begin faster-than-light travel. All crew members must enter deep-sea mode within 10 minutes. Repeating, all crew members must enter deep-sea mode within 10 minutes. Zhao Chen ordered. Target: edge of the Arctic Fox star system, P331 asteroid. 20 minutes later, Zero Storm and the T2 Queen Bee-class heavy carrier starship arrived at the designated coordinates. Zhao Chen woke up immediately, left his sleep pod, and sat in the captain's chair. Just as he was about to give orders, a voice sounded beside him. All personnel on the bridge must return to their stations within 1 minute to check the starship's data. All personnel must return to their stations within 3 minutes and be ready at any time. The starship is now in Level 2 combat readiness, and the interstellar drones are ready to deploy for battle. Zhao Chen looked over and saw that Secretary Lily was already giving orders. Noticing Zhao Chen's gaze, Lily hesitated slightly and said, Is there something I did wrong?" "No, you did very well. I didn't expect you to recover so quickly. Your physical condition is quite good," Zhao Chen praised. The secretary's job is to help the captain give orders, and sometimes she needs to give some commands before the captain, even if they are not part of her usual authority. Just like those words earlier. Lily replied, "I used to serve on a starship in the Demon Queen Kingdom, and I also fought in wars to defend against invaders. But we lost in the end. The Demon Queen Kingdom campaign. I think that was over 50 years ago, right? You were already serving then? So how old are you now?" Zhao Chen wondered about her age. Lily said, "Yes, I am 75 years old this year." Zhao Chen was surprised. 75? Looking at Lily's appearance, she didn't look over 20. It wouldn't be wrong to say she was 20. Sensing Zhao Chen's doubt, Lily explained, "Our demon magic lifespan can reach up to 300 years under normal circumstances. If we use some advanced technology like you humans do, we might live up to 400 years. Zhao Chen swallowed hard. Based on her age in the human world, Lilith is really just a 20-year-old girl. Humans now can live up to 150 years, but only the wealthy can enjoy such a long life. Most ordinary people live around 70 or 80 years. Captain, Zero Storm has successfully completed faster-than-light travel. Please give the next orders." Charlotte's communication window popped up. "How far are we from asteroid P331? Zhao Chen asked. Lilith quickly replied, "If we are traveling at T2 Queen speed, we can reach asteroid P331 in about half an hour. With Zero Storm, it takes only 10 minutes. Since faster-than-light travel only gets you close to the destination, in non-combat situations, ships can get nearer. But when heading into a battle zone, most interstellar fleets slow down early, stop their faster-than-light travel some distance away, and then use regular engines to enter the combat area. Zero Storm, form a fleet with T2 Queen, and head to asteroid P331. We'll plan the battle details when we arrive," Zhao Chen said. "Yes," Charlotte and Lilith answered together. Then, the two ships kept moving at the same speed in the same direction. After about 10 minutes, they saw a group of slow-moving interstellar transport ships. "What kind of ships are those?" Zhao Chen looked at the ships, which seemed to move at only about 10 knots. Clearly, this was not their normal speed. Based on their numbers, they are part of the interstellar transport fleet under the Arctic Fox star system's lord. They are T-2 Seahorse-class medium transport ships. They appear here to evacuate civilians from asteroid P-331, Lilith quickly explained. Zhao Chen looked at Lilith with some surprise. Lilith whispered, I learned that from my data. Contact their ships and ask why they are moving so slowly. Zhao Chen frowned. Soon, the communication was connected. What fleet are you from? The fleet commander on the other side asked first. We are the Black Dragon fleet, assigned to support the P-331 asteroid evacuation mission. You are the interstellar transport ships responsible for evacuating P-331. Why are you moving so slowly? Lily asked. The fleet commander paused briefly and replied, Our ship is damaged, so we are moving slowly. Since you are here to help, you should go ahead first. After saying that, the commander cut off communication and whispered to his deputy with a smile. Someone actually took this mission? Are they crazy? We're not fools. If we rush over and the alien bugs attack while people are evacuating, what then? We'll just take our time and leave once the Empire's forces can't hold out anymore. Lily's voice came over the radio, warning, This is the fleet. Please carry out your mission and head at full speed to P-331. The fleet commander frowned and said, Who are these people? Why are they interfering? Because they hadn't turned on their communication, the T-2 Queen Bee on the other side couldn't hear him. The deputy, smoking calmly nearby, said, Ignore them. We do our own thing. They're not the Empire's navy, so what can they do to us? Suddenly, a report came from the bridge. An unknown starship has all its secondary guns aimed at our fleet. The fleet commander snorted coldly. What? They dare to shoot at us? We're part of the Arctic Fox star system's main fleet. Outside the window of the bridge, streaks of shooting stars flashed past, some so close they were less than 100 meters from the bridge. That starship really dared to fire. The female voice sounded again. This is your last warning. If you delay your mission again, you will bear the consequences. The fleet commander swallowed hard. Crazy. They must be insane. Trying to get themselves killed and dragging us into it. What do we do now? They're really firing. We don't have ships, and our transport ship's weapons are too weak to fight back. Oh no, my hand. The deputy, frightened, burned his hand on his cigarette and cried out in pain. The fleet commander frowned and said, This time, I got unlucky, but I won't forget this grudge. Full speed ahead to P-331 asteroid. On the bridge of the T-2 Queen Bee ship, Zhao Chun saw the normally slow interstellar transport fleet suddenly accelerate. He smiled with satisfaction. He knew what these guys were thinking inside. Usually, it didn't concern him. Let them do as they pleased. But this time, it was his system mission. He wouldn't allow them to delay intentionally. P-331 asteroid has a population of 5 million and is a small resource planet. The Arctic Fox star system built several bases here, with 5 million people working on resource extraction. Unexpectedly, disaster struck from above, the appearance of a cosmic insect nest. The first to be threatened was their P-331 asteroid. The person in charge of the asteroid was busy organizing evacuation, but there weren't enough interstellar transport ships. Less than 10% of the people had been evacuated so far. Their transport capacity was far from enough. The fleet of transport ships from the Arctic Fox star system's Lord's fleet, which should have arrived half an hour earlier, was still not here. A video window appeared in front of the asteroid leader. A woman dressed in the Empire's military uniform appeared on the screen. How is your evacuation going? She asked. So far, we've evacuated only 50,000 people. Over 400,000 are still waiting, the asteroid leader replied. And the interstellar transport fleet? The woman frowned, clearly unhappy with the efficiency. They haven't arrived yet, the leader said helplessly. Captain, our fleet's right wing has been attacked by a large number of bugs. There are too many. We need to retreat further back. Captain, the enemy's T-2 mothership of the insect nest is using plasma cannons to attack us. One T-2 Hound-class medium starship has been damaged. The woman's voice was noisy with reports. Every message increased the asteroid leader's worry. Sir, maybe you should retreat first. Sacrificing 30 Imperial starships to save hundreds of thousands of people here isn't worth it, the leader urged again. He has said this several times before. If it weren't for the Emperor leading the Imperial fleet here, he might have already left on a spaceship. We still have time. We can't abandon any of the Empire's people, the female officer said firmly. The asteroid commander secretly smiled bitterly. Your kindness is admirable, but please don't drag the high officials of the asteroid into trouble. If you don't leave, they can't leave either. We will keep delaying the insect attack for another 2 hours. Please find a way to evacuate the civilians quickly, the female officer said resolutely. Yes, the asteroid commander replied reluctantly. On the bridge of the Fire Leopard-class medium starship, flagship of the 5th Fleet, 3rd Army, 7th Legion of the Starshine Empire, the female officer, who had just finished communicating, looked serious as she stared at the radar screen. The radar was covered with countless red dots, numbering in the millions. They are all bugs. Miss, we really should retreat. If we keep fighting like this, our fleet might get caught by the bugs and be completely destroyed. Right now, our firepower can suppress the bugs, but as their numbers grow, we will soon be surrounded. At that point, we won't even be able to escape, a female deputy officer urged anxiously. The female officer clenched her teeth, unwillingly saying, "Are we really going to give up on the millions of lives on that planet?" Miss, your life is much more important than those millions of lives, the deputy said straightforwardly. No, everyone is equal. As soldiers of the Empire, our duty is to protect the people of the Empire, the female officer declared with righteous anger. The deputy's mind was racing, thinking, this sense of justice is really over the top right now. Reluctantly, she had to use her last resort. Miss, you care about those millions, but have you thought about the cost if something happens to you here? How many families would be affected? The female officer felt conflicted. She knew she was being a bit stubborn now, but her sense of justice wouldn't let her abandon those millions of lives on that planet. 2 hours. We hold out for 2 more hours. The female officer clenched her teeth and chose to compromise. 2 hours is impossible. Given our current situation, we can only hold out for 1 hour. We must retreat after 1 hour no matter what. If necessary, your starship should withdraw, and I will lead the remaining fleet to hold the line here, the female deputy officer said firmly. Compared to the life of the young lady in front of her, this fleet of 30 Imperial starships was nothing. How can I abandon you all and run away? The female officer refused this idea. She clenched her fists and asked, haven't I issued a bounty mission before? Why hasn't any fleet come to support us yet? Miss, it's impossible for anyone to support us now, the female deputy officer said, really wanting to knock out the young lady and take her away. The female officer felt torn inside. Her sense of justice was constantly clashing with reality. Should she retreat or stay? Meanwhile, on the battlefield, because the number of bugs kept increasing, one T2 Guardian-class medium starship had already been breached by the bugs. Creatures as big as a human body started attacking the ship's armor, biting and gnawing at it wildly. The T2 Guardian was helpless against these bugs on its hull, only able to watch as the armor was torn open in many places. Report: the starship T2 Guardian 0712 starboard side is heavily covered by flying insects. It cannot be saved, the bridge crew reported to the female officer. Once the starship was covered by bugs, it was almost as if they had 1 foot in the afterlife, facing death. The female officer looked at the T2 Guardian with anger and guilt. It would be the first starship to fall in her fleet here, but it might not be the last. Report: a group of interstellar drone swarms has appeared behind my fleet. A crew member suddenly reported from the starship radar. Interstellar drone swarm? The female officer was surprised. While they were still amazed at the drones, the swarms had already entered the battlefield. They began shooting at the flying insects, smashing them into pieces. They also supported the trapped T2 Guardian. Thanks to the starship's drone cannons, they gradually cleared all the bugs from the ship's surface. Finally, the T2 Guardian ship, battered but successful, withdrew from the dangerous area. Where are these interstellar drones from? The female officer asked in surprise. At that moment, a communication came through. I am the commander of the Black Dragon Fleet, here to support you with a bounty mission, a male voice said on the channel. The female officer felt a surge of joy. See, someone is willing to come. Someone shares her sense of justice. Meanwhile, in the distant battlefield, several large insect-like creatures, resembling starships, were gradually approaching. Hello, Commander of the Black Dragon Fleet. I am Commander Chu Xian of the 7th Army, 3rd Corps, 5th Fleet of the Starshine Empire. Your support came just in time. How many starships have you brought? Chu Xian asked excitedly. With reinforcements arriving, the 5 million people on that planet could be safely evacuated. We have 2 starships, Zhao Qin replied straightforwardly. Chu Xian immediately wondered if she had heard wrong. She looked at her female deputy and whispered, "Did I just hear 20 ships instead of 2? I think I also heard 2, the deputy nodded blankly. Chu Xian hesitated and asked again, "Did you just say your fleet has only 2 starships?" "Yes," Zhao Qin confirmed. "Are you just a vanguard fleet? The main fleet is still on the way?" Chu Xian tried to hold on to hope. Zhao Qin said, "Only these 2 starships came to support this time. As for the mission your commander mentioned, no one else is willing to accept it besides us." "Only 2 starships?" Chu Xian suddenly felt her hope plummet from the peak to the bottom. "Are you T3 starships?" Chu Xian asked stubbornly. 2 T2 starships, Zhao Qin replied. Chu Xian's face was now expressionless. Perhaps she really shouldn't have chosen to defend the P-331 asteroid. She shouldn't let her so-called sense of justice and responsibility cause her fleet to sacrifice itself here. "Thank you very much for coming to support us, but with only your 2 starships, we can't turn the current dire situation around." Chu Xian spoke sadly, "So I have decided to give up. Isn't it worth trying before giving up?" Zhao Qin asked back. Being able to disobey the Lord's orders and insist on helping 5 million people evacuate from asteroid P-331, even if it puts your fleet in danger and might threaten millions more behind you, is a big sacrifice. Sometimes, you might lose more than you gain. You may not be a perfect leader, but you are a brave soldier. I don't believe that, without losing all hope, you would give up on your firm beliefs, Zhao Qin said, looking directly into Chu Xian's eyes. Even though they were separated by a virtual video call, Chu Xian felt a shock of electricity. All her body goosebumps stood up. She opened her mouth to speak, but the female deputy officer beside her interrupted directly. "Captain, you might not understand the current situation. With only your 2 T2 starships, you can't turn the tide. Remember, here are 30 T2 starships of the Empire's fleet. Just 2 starships." The deputy officer had once admired this man, but now she thought he was just a fool. Her young lady was finally convinced to retreat, and this young man suddenly appeared, trying to persuade her again with a few words. Does he know who her young lady is? If something happened to her, the entire Arctic Fox star system could suffer heavy losses. "Then let's first talk about the current situation," Zhao Qin said, looking at Commander Chu Xian. Chu Xian stopped the deputy officer from speaking further and said seriously, "Here's the situation. This group of interstellar bugs came from a secondary universe bug nest, which has now been closed. There are 4 T2 hive motherships and 35 T1 hive motherships. So far, we have destroyed 4 T1 hive motherships and severely damaged 1 T2 hive mothership. But the bugs are too many. We are struggling to hold the line." Zhao Qin asked, "How are your fleet's damages? How much fighting power do your starships still have?" Commander Chu Xian was surprised, but answered, "All 30 of my starships are still operational. 2 of them are somewhat damaged, but it doesn't affect their fighting ability. More than half of the weapons on board are still functional. However, our firepower is insufficient, and the number of bugs is too high." "I understand. I believe we still have a chance to fight now," said Zhao Qin, interrupting Commander Chu Xian confidently. The female aide covered her face, thinking, where did this reckless young man come from? How can he be the same as our young lady? No. Our young lady's status is special. Can this person compare? Hey, do you even understand the current situation? We can't just risk 30 starships to follow your 2 ships into danger based on your words." The female aide now called Zhao Qin directly, without any respect. Zhao Qin ignored her and only looked at Chu Xian. "What do you suggest?" Chu Xian asked Zhao Qin. "There isn't much time to explain. Just follow my instructions. We can't defeat the interstellar bugs right now, but we can buy about 2 hours for the P-331 asteroid behind us," Zhao Qin replied. He looked at the young, beautiful commander and asked, "Just tell me, are you willing to trust me? Are you willing to take one more risk for your beliefs?" Chu Xian clenched her fists and bit her lip, clearly feeling very conflicted. "Are you done?" No one will stop you if you want to die, the female aide snapped, losing patience and shouting at Zhao Chun. Zhao Chun added, if you still don't believe me, I can give you a guarantee. When you think this battle is hopeless, you can retreat at any time. Fine. I agree. My fleet will follow your orders now, Chu Xian said, her eyes shining like precious stones. Young lady, the female aide exclaimed anxiously. Let me be a little stubborn this time. If it's truly impossible to change, we can retreat later, Chu Xian whispered. The female aide felt helpless. She knew her young lady's decisions couldn't be changed. Her young lady was full of justice and very stubborn. My drone swarm will provide cover. Now, your fleet, retreat at full speed. Form a one-way carrier battle formation around my T2 starship carrier, Zhao Chun said seriously. These bugs are numerous. Are you sure your interstellar drone swarm can really hold them off? Commander Chu Xian asked worriedly. Zhao Chun replied calmly. Please trust me, Commander Chu Xian. Commander Chu Xian looked at the man in front of her. For some reason, she felt as if a light was shining from him. She then gave orders to her fleet. All ships retreat from the battle. Quickly withdraw toward the coordinates. At position, form a one-way carrier battle formation centered around the friendly carrier starship. It must be said that the Empire's fleet is quite well trained. After Commander Chu Xian's orders, 30 starships quickly withdrew from the fight, maintaining a very safe retreat formation. The T2 Guardian-class medium interstellar ships stayed in the back to protect the fleet, just in case. Fortunately, their worries did not come true. 100 T2 Killer B-class medium interstellar drones protected 20 T2 Big Hornet-class heavy interstellar drones as they approached to attack the swarm. The 100 T2 Killer Bs immediately used their guns and missiles to attack the bugs, blowing them into pieces. At the same time, the 20 T2 Big Hornets launched well-prepared timed bombs, and then all drones retreated. The bugs naturally wouldn't miss these prey and swept forward like a black wave. As the swarm chased, the timed bombs exploded one after another, creating a firepower net. This caused the pursuing bugs to be momentarily confused and unable to find their target. On the bridge of the T2 Big Hornet-class heavy drone, Zhao Qin sat in the captain's chair, watching the battlefield scene magnified through a deep space telescope. Although he had learned about the insect race from textbooks at the Northern Star Starship Military Academy, seeing these alien species fight in person was still shocking and made his heart tremble. Especially for those with arachnophobia, witnessing this scene might cause them to break down on the spot. The fighting style of the interstellar insect race is quite unique. The Hive mothership is large and classified as a biological starship. However, their mobility is average. The main weapons they use, such as bioplasma cannons and biotorpedoes, don't really have an advantage compared to starships of the same class. But their unique swarm structure gives them a special combat style and tactics. A T1 Hive mothership carries about 10,000 T1 flyers. A T2 Hive mothership carries around 100,000 T1 flyers and 1,000 T2 stingers. The flyers and stingers are considered the engineering units of the Hive mothership. The flyers are similar to winged mantises, about the size of a human, and can only fight in close combat. The stingers look like long insect-like serpents. They are only as tall as a person, but their bodies stretch nearly 10 meters long. At close range, they can spray highly corrosive acid. Both types can leave the Hive mothership and survive in space, moving with incredible speed. Among ships of the same level, only the speed of an interstellar frigate can barely compare to them. All other starships are slower. These units are commonly called bugs. Although they are divided into T1 and T2, their actual combat strength is far below that level. For example, a single T2 Stinger would be easily crushed in a fight against a T2 Hornet-class heavy interstellar drone. But when these bugs attack, they don't come in ones, tens, or even hundreds. They come in thousands, like a massive wave. Unless you can wipe them all out, even a small number latching onto your ship's hull can bite through it. Once that happens, the interstellar soldiers inside are in serious danger. These bugs know no fear. They act only on instinct and the commands of the Hive mothership, charging forward without hesitation. In some ways, this fighting style is similar to that of a carrier starship. The bugs are essentially the Hive mothership's starfighter squadrons. Report. The first wave of T-2 Hornet-class heavy interstellar drones and T-2 Wasp-class medium interstellar drones have finished their bombing run and are returning, Lilith said beside him. Have the Hornets and Wasps complete resupply and prepare for the second wave of attacks. At the same time, deploy 300 T-2 Larva-class light interstellar drones in 3 rotating waves, Zhao Qian ordered. Yes, sir. Lilith begins to relay the captain's orders. Initially worried about whether the interstellar drones could withstand the Insect Empire's fleet, everyone is now amazed by their performance. These interstellar drones are even more powerful than other ships of the same level. Commander Chu Xian praises. At this moment, the female deputy officer notices the carrier starship. Its hull is painted yellow and black, and its shape resembles an insect, similar to the alien bugs across from it. What kind of carrier starship is this? I've never seen it before, she says, pulling up the starship database and scanning the image. However, there is no record of this ship. It's not listed in our database, she adds, surprised. Commander Chu Xian looks at the starship, thinking of what the man said earlier. She whispers seriously, hopefully, that captain can really change the course of the battle. The female deputy thinks to herself, 2 starships? That can't be right. Unless they are 2 T-3 starships, maybe. Right, not 2 starships. Then why is there only 1 carrier starship and another starship missing? She suddenly exclaims, looking at the starship radar. There is no energy signal from a second starship. Where is that other starship? P-331 asteroid. Dozens of T-2 Seahorse-class medium interstellar transport ships float above the asteroid, with airships evacuating civilians from the ships. Great. You finally arrived, the asteroid's leader says almost tearfully to the fleet commander. We're here on a mission. Hurry and organize the evacuation. Time is tight. If the insect fleet gets within the alert range, we must leave immediately. The fleet commander forces a small smile. Yes, yes, yes. We will evacuate as quickly as possible. Within 2 hours. No, an hour and a half. The leader promises confidently. The faster, the better. The transport fleet commander says impatiently. It's not his choice to be here. A group of fanatics is forcing him with starship cannons. Since they are here now, he can only obediently carry out the evacuation of civilians. He only hoped that the hateful man could hold on a little longer so they could evacuate safely and smoothly. But inside, he harbored dark thoughts. He also wished that the man and his cursed starship would be attacked by bugs on a distant battlefield. Better yet, wait until we have safely evacuated before attacking. Yes, that's it. He cursed silently. Under the protection of the T-2 Queen Bee-class heavy carrier starship's drone swarm, Chu Xian's Imperial fleet successfully retreated near the T-2 Queen Bee. They formed a one-way carrier battle formation centered on the T-2 Queen Bee. A one-way carrier battle formation means building a battle line that faces only one direction. The T-2 Queen Bee is at the back, with a T-2 Grey Wolf-class light star cruiser and a T-2 Fire Leopard-class medium star battleship in front. Further ahead are 8 T-2 Hounds-class medium star destroyers and 20 T-2 Guardians-class medium star frigates. These 31 starships are ready to face the approaching swarm of bugs. Almost as soon as the bugs entered their firing range, all the Imperial starships opened fire. Thanks to previous battles, these starships had become somewhat familiar with fighting these interstellar bugs. At the same time, the T-2 Queen Bee kept sending out drone swarms. 3rd wave, 5th wave, 7th wave, 10th wave. Gradually, the number of returning drones decreased each time, as many were torn apart by the bugs. With the support of the T-2 Queen Bee, the drone swarm's combat power was surprisingly strong. But the size of the bug swarm was just too large, and their lines were gradually pushed back. From a distance, it looked like a black wave about to swallow the 31 starships. At this rate, the outcome will be the same. Our firepower is simply not enough to stop these bugs, the female deputy officer said anxiously beside Commander Chu Xian. Commander Chu Xian stared at the changes on the holographic star map, her expression serious. Based on the current situation, in less than 20 minutes, the bugs would reach their starship line, posing a direct threat to their ships. Contact the captain of the Black Dragon fleet immediately. Commander Chu Xian spoke in a deep voice. The female aide immediately made contact, and a video window opened, showing the man's face again. Before Commander Chu Xian could speak, Zhao Chen spoke first. Wait a little longer. Commander Chu Xian and the female aide were both surprised. Wait for what? Commander Chu Xian asked instinctively. Time, Zhao Chen replied, not looking at Commander Chu Xian but at the star map in front of him, as if waiting for something to happen. Both Commander Chu Xian and the female aide found this hard to understand. 10 minutes. At most, 10 more minutes. Zhao Chen said seriously. Commander Chu Xian wanted to speak, but held back. She thought to herself, just 10 more minutes. If nothing changes after that, I will really lead my fleet to retreat. Time slowly passed. The insect swarm was gradually approaching the fleet line. The female aide was getting anxious and overwhelmed. Suddenly, the starship radar operator, who had been watching the battlefield, shouted, "Report. High-energy reactions are appearing behind the insect swarm. Also, the life signal of a T2 Hive mothership has disappeared. A fast-moving, unidentified energy signal suddenly appeared behind the insect swarm." Commander Chu Xian and the female aide looked at each other. Could this be what the man was waiting for? Start now, Zhao Chen muttered, his eyes shining with a wild look. Charlotte, it's time for your show. At this moment, the insect swarm, which had been attacking fiercely, surprisingly slowed down a bit, and some of the swarm even retreated. Launch unmanned reconnaissance drones to see what's going on, Commander Chu Xian quickly ordered. Drones were deployed one after another. Because the front battlefield was covered by a dense insect swarm, the starship couldn't see clearly what was happening behind the swarm. They could only send the drones to move to a vantage point and transmit the visual images back. Soon, images were being transmitted back one after another. Oh my God, that's a starship. The female aide exclaimed, covering her mouth in shock. That starship is moving way too fast. It's at least 70 or 80 times the speed of light. No, it's 100 times the speed of light. Commander Chu Xian relied on her battlefield instincts to accurately identify the speed of the spaceship. 100 knots? The female officer was surprised. At this moment, the wreckage of the exploded T2 Queen Nest battleship appeared before them. The once huge battleship was now broken into 3 parts, clearly showing that one side of the ship had been hit by a terrifying cannon blast, with a large hole punched through it. It was a cannon with a caliber over 1,000 millimeters, Commander Chu Xian said, recognizing the weapon based on the image. She quickly ordered, "Zoom in on that spaceship." The image gradually enlarged, though it remained a bit blurry. Still, they could see the fast-moving spaceship maneuvering quickly among the enemy fleet. It paid no attention to the chasing insect swarms, just continuing to fly. Because of its incredible speed, the insect swarms behind couldn't catch up. The Queen Nest battleships tried to attack with their bioelectric plasma cannons, but since the spaceship was too fast, none of their shots hit. "Captain, what is going on?" Commander Chu Xian asked Zhao Chen, unable to hide her curiosity. Zhao Chen crossed his arms and calmly explained, "That is my fleet's spaceship, the Zero Storm. It is a T2 spaceship with high speed and equipped with a 1,200 mm caliber cannon." A T2 spaceship with a 1,200 mm cannon? The female officer exclaimed. "So, this is your second spaceship in the fleet? You didn't plan to defend against the insect swarm from the start," Chu Xian said, understanding his strategy. "You used us to attract the insect swarm forces from the Queen Nest battleship. Many of their troops were sent to attack us, leaving the Queen Nest ships unprotected. Meanwhile, your Zero Storm approached at high speed and launched an attack on the Queen Nests." Chu Xian revealed Zhao Chen's plan. Zhao Chen nodded. The fleet commander from the Empire was not only responsible and just but also a talented soldier. "You're crazy. You're completely insane. Have you thought about what could happen if something went wrong? That spaceship could have been eaten by the insect swarm," the female officer said in shock. Zhao Chen remained firm and said, "There will be no accidents. Because that spaceship is called Zero Storm." There was one more thing Zhao Chen didn't say. The one commanding the battle on that starship was the legendary half-beast general, the White Tiger, Charlotte. "Bridge of the Blizzard, 01 report. The swarm at the front lines has started to retreat. They seem to be heading straight for us," a crew member reported. "Ignore them. Keep going at full speed." Charlotte was personally steering the starship. Every angle, every trajectory was under her direct control. Normally, this was the job of the bridge helmsman. But today, After so many years, General Charlotte once again took the helm herself. She knew very well how dangerous this mission was. A single hit from the bioplasma cannons of the swarm's mothership, or being caught by the pursuing swarm, would mean certain death. She had already calculated the routes and trajectories countless times in her mind. The main swarm forces will need a little more time to return, Charlotte murmured, her eyes scanning the star map as if searching for a target. The blizzard, 01 was able to dodge and escape for now, partly because of its incredible speed, and partly because the mothership's defenses were thin. Only a few T-1 flyers and T-2 stingers remained, not enough to form an effective blockade. But once the main swarm forces, currently fighting the Empire's fleet and the T-2 Hive-class carriers, returned, the danger to the blizzard, 01, would increase dramatically. Time ticked by. Report. The T-2 Heavy 1,200mm Devil Gator cannon is reloaded and ready to fire, the weapons officer announced. Charlotte didn't even need the reminder. She already had every number etched into her mind. At that moment, the Blizzard 01's bow just happened to be facing a T-2 swarm mothership. The mothership seemed to sense the danger. It began retreating quickly, firing plasma blasts at the Blizzard 01, but none of them could hit the fast-moving starship. Charlotte locked her gaze on the targeting reticle. She had only one shot. It might not be enough to destroy the T-2 mothership outright, but at the very least, it had to be crippled. The insect swarm is controlled by the Hive mothership. Although destroying the Hive mothership does not cause the entire swarm to die immediately, it greatly reduces their fighting ability. It's like a military force losing its leader, leaderless and chaotic. Now, fire! Commander Charlotte shouted angrily. The T-2 Heavy 1,200mm Demon Crocodile cannon fired a shell that streaked through space like a comet, finally hitting the side of the T-2 Hive mothership. A huge explosion flipped over the ship, which was over a kilometer long. Pieces of debris floated in space. After this explosion, the ship's abdomen exploded again, even more violently. This second blast split the ship in two, marking its destruction in this universe. Commander Chu Xian and her female deputy were stunned as they watched everything unfold. Earlier, they had only managed to severely damage a Hive mothership with a surprise attack, but they couldn't destroy it on the spot. Yet, this starship was taken down with just one shot. It was incredible. And just now, it was clear that the T-2 Hive mothership was also destroyed with a single shot. That shot destroyed the T-2 Hive mothership. Could it be a T-3 starship? The deputy asked in disbelief. Commander Chu Xian quickly understood why. It hit that stores biological plasma in the Hive mothership. That's like the starship's ammunition depot or engine. Once hit, it causes a chain reaction similar to a sacrificial explosion, multiplying the power several times or even dozens of times. But two shots in a row hitting the target. Is that even possible? The deputy questioned. Commander Chu Xian stared at the screen showing the number 0 Blizzard starship speeding away again. It's not just possible. It's what this starship was built to do. In 10 minutes, they destroyed 2 T-2 Hive motherships. That was already a very good result. Report. More than half of the enemy's insect forces have retreated. The remaining forces can't break through our fire barrier, the crew reported. Commander Chu Xian couldn't help but praise. That's crazy. An almost insane battle plan. However, it truly achieved the goal of delaying time. This way, they could buy at least another hour or more. Even 2 hours was not a problem. At this moment, the female deputy officer was speechless. She recalled the previous sarcastic comments about the two starships and felt like she was being slapped in the face. But now, whether the number 0 snowstorm could safely retreat was a big question. Commander Chu Xian worriedly said. Right now, after destroying the 2 T-2 Hive motherships, the number 0 snowstorm had started to retreat. However, the swarm of insects, which had been wiped out, could not tolerate the main culprit escaping. Swarms of bugs, like black whirlwinds, began to surround the starship. Their numbers were dozens of times greater than before. It was as if a giant black hand was grabbing a tiny mosquito, trying to crush it. Report. According to the starship system calculations, given the current heading, our chance of escape is only 16%, the crew member reported nervously. Charlotte closed her eyes. At this moment, She felt like she was back in the days fighting against the Orc rebel army. Outnumbered and weaker, yet she always managed to turn the tide. "Turn around," Charlotte suddenly ordered. This command surprised everyone on the bridge. Originally, the number 0 snowstorm was retreating in the opposite direction of the main battlefield. Turning around meant heading straight into the fight. Wasn't that like walking into a trap? But on this starship, Charlotte's orders were final. The number 0 snowstorm swiftly turned around. "Full speed ahead," Charlotte said firmly. After a brief turn, the starship's speed increased again to 100 stars per hour. At this moment, Charlotte activated a virtual control interface, entered a series of numbers, and said, "Remove starship engine restrictions. Continue accelerating." Removing engine restrictions? The navigation officer was stunned, then worriedly said, "If we remove the engine restrictions and keep accelerating, the engines might be overburdened." "This is an order. Keep accelerating," Charlotte commanded with focus. "Yes, removing engine restrictions. The starship will continue to accelerate. Speed 103. Speed 106. Speed 110. Each starship's engine setting is not its maximum speed, but its optimal speed. This means that at this speed, the engine's lifespan is best preserved. If the speed exceeds this, it can cause navigation problems and significantly shorten the engine's life. Therefore, most starship engines have a built-in limit, which only the captain or the deputy captain can unlock with a password. Report. Engine overloads have begun. Report. Power system is operating beyond its capacity. Report. Current speed has reached 120. All crew members on the bridge are now tense and alert. The sudden turn of the 0 storm and the rapid increase in speed caused the surrounding swarm of insects to be caught off guard and thrown far behind. As the saying goes, the most dangerous place is often the safest. The battlefield is now divided into two areas. One is the main battlefield of the Empire fleet, and the other is the swarm forces called back to attack the 0 storm. Normally, everyone would think the 0 storm would run in the opposite direction, so the swarm had already started to deploy a surrounding trap. Interestingly, the swarm near the main battlefield is the smallest in number. However, unfortunately, there is a T2 hive mothership and a small group of insects right on the path of the 0 storm. Report. Speed is too high. We cannot make a sharp turn now. The crew member reports nervously. Charlotte suddenly smiled, the first time she has smiled so happily since she came to Zhaochun. Then we won't go around. Full speed ahead, let's crash into it. The Empire Fleet flagship, T2 Fire Leopard class medium interstellar battleship. Bridge, what is that starship doing? Commander Chu Xian looked surprised as the 0 storm directly charged toward a T2 hive mothership, with a small group of insects in front of it. It seems like it's going to crash into it. The female deputy officer was stunned. Commander Chu Xian said seriously, the main cannon of this 0 storm needs about 5 minutes to reload. It has only been 3 minutes since the last shot, so the main cannon cannot be used yet. It should have already lifted the starship's engine limit. By the look of it, the speed has passed 130 knots of star velocity. After only a few minutes of watching, Chu Xian had already figured out some of the combat details of the ship called Blizzard 0. At this moment, everyone fell silent. Their eyes were fixed on the video feed, where the ship charged forward like an ancient knight ready to face death, rushing straight into the enemy swarm. The swarm protecting the T2 hive mothership also sensed the danger. They immediately surged forward like a black whirlwind, trying to block the starship. At the same time, the T2 hive mothership slowly opened its abyssal maw, aiming at the oncoming ship. Inside that dark mouth, the bioplasma cannon began to charge, glowing with a blue light. Meanwhile, Blizzard 0 was already rushing head-on toward the swarm. From Chu Xian and the others' perspective, it looked as if Blizzard 0 had plunged directly into the mass of creatures. But because its speed was so fast, faster even than the T1 flyers and T2 stingers, the result was clear. What happens when two fast-moving forces collide? One side is torn apart, and this time, it was the swarm. One after another, the T1 flyers and T2 stingers slammed into the hull of Blizzard 0. Before they could even attack, they were crushed instantly, their green fluids splattering across the ship's armor like a new coat of paint. Inside the starship, the crew felt as if they were caught in the middle of a raging storm. Everywhere in the ship, The sound of constant pounding, thud, 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 echoed, and the floor beneath their feet shook. Report. Frontal armor damage at 10%, 12%, 14%. Report. Side armor damage at 3%, 5%, 7%. Crew members kept reporting the ship's condition. The endless pounding sounds weighed heavily on the hearts of many on the bridge, casting a shadow over their spirits. But Charlotte, acting as the temporary captain, had eyes that burned with wild determination. After so long, her blood was boiling again. "What's our current speed?" she shouted. "Speed of 135 knots. Although the speed has been slightly affected by the swarm collision, our starship speed is still gradually increasing. Do we need to keep accelerating?" The crew member responsible for speed control was now sweating heavily. Looking at the red, constantly flickering number, she felt her heartbeat was now several times faster than usual. "Keep accelerating," Charlotte ordered. Charlotte watched the video feed coming from outside the ship. Honestly, at this moment, there was no clear image, only darkness, because the outside of the ship was filled with the swarm. They were moving backward through the swarm. Thanks to the very high speed, the bugs couldn't effectively damage the ship's armor. The only real threat was their reckless collisions, sacrificing themselves to hit the ship. Although she couldn't see it, on the starship's radar, the Zero Storm was getting closer and closer to the largest energy mass. Suddenly, the scene brightened, breaking through the darkness. The Zero Storm burst out from the swarm, and the T2 Queen bug ship on the opposite side was almost within reach. The T2 Queen bug ship was opening its huge mouth, preparing to fire its bioelectric plasma cannon, which was about to shoot. "All secondary guns, close defense guns. Fire at will," Charlotte shouted. The secondary guns and close defense guns, already prepared, fired simultaneously. The bioelectric plasma cannon also shot out, and the two collided, creating a spectacular fireball and a large cloud of smoke. The shockwave from the explosion blew away nearby bugs. A few seconds later, the Zero Storm emerged from the smoke and debris. "Crash into it. Keep firing the close defense guns," Charlotte yelled. Next to her, the crew immediately used the ship-wide communication system, shouting, "All ships, prepare for impact." Repeat, "All ships, prepare for impact." All crew members on the Zero Storm braced themselves for the collision, holding on to anything they could, steadying their bodies. In the next moment, the speeding T2 Zero Storm directly rammed into the bow of the T2 Queen bug ship. Their sizes were vastly different. But don't forget, what kind of ship was the Zero Storm? This is the hull of an interstellar battleship, with strength second only to that of a star cruiser in its class. Combined with its speed boost, this Zero Storm is like a speeding starship projectile. Under the force of the impact, the front of the T2 Hive mothership was dented inward, and the entire ship shifted to one side. At the same time, the close-range guns on Zero Storm kept firing without pause. On the bridge of Zero Storm, several female crew members lost their balance during the sudden collision and were thrown forward, falling hard to the ground. They landed face up, but luckily only suffered minor cuts. Ignoring their injuries, they quickly returned to their battle stations. Report. The front armor of the ship is 50% damaged. Report. Speed has dropped to 100 knots. 90 knots. 80 knots. Report. The swarm behind is catching up. Charlotte didn't speak. She just stared intently. It was as if her eyes could see through the ship's armor and directly lock onto the T2 Hive mothership. Finally, due to the intense collision, the T2 Hive mothership shifted position. The Zero Storm brushed past the T2 Hive mothership, scraping against each other as they crossed paths. "Full speed ahead. Keep pushing," Charlotte shouted immediately. Without obstacles blocking the way, the Zero Storm accelerated again, heading toward the main battlefield where the Imperial fleet was fighting. Behind it, a huge swarm of insects was chasing like a black wave. As for the damaged T2 Hive mothership, its front third was crushed, and one side was riddled with many bullet holes. It looked like this biological starship was barely holding on. Who would have thought that a T2 Hive mothership could be killed by a T2 starship simply by being hit? Is this luck? T2 Queen-class heavy carrier starship. Bridge all T2 worker bees and T2 Big Hornet heavy starship drones. Gather and create a gap for Zero Storm. Let the Imperial fleet coordinate with us, Zhao Chen said, watching the approaching Zero Storm on the starship radar. Between them, a line of the swarm was blocking the way. The situation with the Zero Storm was still dangerous. In front, there was a line of insect swarms, and behind, another group was chasing. It was like a sandwich cookie. If you weren't careful, the insect swarms could completely consume you. On the bridge of the Empire fleet's T-2 Fire Leopard-class medium starship, Commander Chu Xian knew what to do even without Zhao Chen's instructions. She looked serious as she issued her orders. Give me the order, regardless of the cost. We must tear a hole in the enemy lines. The starships of the Empire fleet poured their firepower into one point, forcing a gap to open. However, the insect swarms wouldn't let the main culprit, the ship that destroyed 3 T-2 Mother Hive ships, escape easily. They began to block the gap and formed a surrounding circle with the chasing insect swarms. It was a pincer movement from both sides. At this moment, they even abandoned the Empire fleet as a target. Their insect swarms' only command was to destroy that cursed starship at all costs. Report, the gap has been blocked again, the female deputy officer said nervously. Commander Chu Xian clenched her fists. Keep attacking. No matter what. We must make that starship break through. In her heart, she saw that starship as a hero. How could they just watch it be surrounded and eaten by the insect swarms? But right now, no matter how much their starships attacked, they couldn't open or tear the gap. At this moment, the Zero Storm was approaching the insect line. With its current condition, the ship couldn't withstand another attack from the insect swarms. Commander Chu Xian bit her lip, feeling a bit guilty. The female deputy sighed. It was a pity about that starship. Suddenly, a bright light appeared within the insect line, swallowing many bugs and clearing the space. Soon after, the prepared T-2 Larva-class light starship drones and T-2 Killer B-class medium starship drones rushed forward, attacking the bugs around the gap to prevent them from sealing it again. That's the main shell of the starship missile. They set it to detonate on a timer, calculating the explosion distance precisely. Commander Chu Xian can now see the approaching Zero Storm from the gap in the insect swarm line, and that bright 1,200 millimeters giant cannon. She quickly understood the reason behind it. Quick, cover fire, Commander Chu Xian ordered urgently. Under the fire support of the Imperial fleet and the attack of the T-2 Queen-class heavy carrier starship and its drones, a ship's silhouette sped through the insect swarm line. It was the much-anticipated Zero Storm. At this moment, the Imperial fleet starships could clearly see the damage on this starship caused by insect collisions. The ship's armor had hundreds of dents, making it look battered and worn, especially at the front of the starship, where a large 20-meter wide and nearly 3-meter deep dent was visible. This was the battle scar from hitting the T-2 Queen Mother ship. There were also many insect carcasses and green fluids splattered on the hull. And, following behind, some insects tried to attack the starship. They crawled on the hull, using their mouthparts, claws, and corrosive acid to damage the armor. But soon, these insects were cleaned up one by the arriving T-2 juvenile drone starfighters. What kind of starship is this? Commander Chu Xian watched the starship, feeling a bit envious. She also admired the commander on this starship. The recent fierce but smooth battle was simply perfect. She wondered if she could do as well if she were in that position. Chu Xian had no answer. Report, Zero Storm successfully completed the mission. The hull was damaged, and 7 crew members were lightly injured, Charlotte reported via video call to Zhao Chun. Well done. Zhao Chun praised Charlotte's performance highly. Although he had discussed the battle plan with Charlotte privately before, Charlotte had proposed this idea, and Zhao Chun agreed. However, she couldn't promise the exact battle steps, since they were facing interstellar insects, and everything depended on improvisation. But Charlotte assured Zhao Chun that she was at least 80% confident she could lead Zero Storm to retreat safely, even if the mission failed. Charlotte did it. There's a communication request from the flagship of the Imperial fleet, Lilith, the secretary officer, pointed to a pop-up message. Connect it, Zhao Chun said. The video call resumed. The female officer appeared again in front of Zhao Chun. Captain, we just received news from asteroid P331. About 80% of the people there have evacuated. We expect to finish evacuating in about half an hour. If things go smoothly, We only need to hold on for a few more minutes before we can start withdrawing from the battlefield, Commander Chu Xian said, her eyes fixed on the man in front of her. Now, she was very curious about this man. He seemed like a divine figure, helping them, who had lost all hope, to solve this crisis with just 2 starships, saving 5 million people on that planet. Who exactly is this man? And what are these 2 starships? Chu Xian had many questions and doubts. I understand. We will fight while retreating. The 3 T2 Hive motherships of the Zerg have been destroyed. In a short time, their command systems will be chaotic, greatly reducing their fighting ability. They probably won't be a big threat, Zhao Chen said calmly. Then, Commander Chu Xian wanted to say more. Let's stop here. Until the battle is over, we can't let our guard down. Zhao Chen finished and ended the call. Commander Chu Xian was stunned, staring blankly at the now black screen. This was the first time a man had ended a call with her so quickly and smoothly. She was a delicate flower in the Imperial fleet, after all. Was this treatment a mistake? Zhao Chen didn't realize that he had made this fleet's delicate flower imagine all sorts of things, feeling a bit guilty. Report on the current status of the 2 starships. Zhao Chen sat in the captain's chair. Only now did he truly relax, massaging his temples and taking a deep breath. Although Charlotte had promised before, he couldn't deny he was a little nervous. Lilith had already finished gathering the data on the 2 starships and began reporting. So far, the T2 Queen-class heavy carrier starship has lost nearly 200 T2 larva-stage light interstellar drones, 60 T2 Killer B-class medium interstellar drones, and 7 T2 Hornet-class heavy interstellar drones. 70% of the starship's drones have been destroyed, and 50% of the ammunition and supplies have been used up. Fortunately, no personnel have been injured. After discussing the T2 Queen, the focus shifts to the Zero Storm. The situation with Zero Storm is not looking good. Zero Storm's front armor has been damaged by over 70%, and the other side armor has been damaged by 30%. 3 compartments at the bow have been deformed and are now sealed. The main structure of the starship has weakened by 5%, but this does not affect its ability to fight and travel. The engines, power systems, and control systems are functioning normally. The engines are no longer restricted and are operating as expected, but a thorough check is needed to ensure there are no hidden problems. All systems, including the power and ammunition supplies, are normal. Ammunition and supplies have been used up by 30%. Lilith looked at Zhao Chun. The battle information about Zero Storm was provided by Charlotte, and I gathered data from Zero Storm to make these statistics. Zhao Chun was very pleased. Lilith is now becoming familiar with her role. The demon race's learning ability really is impressive. The upcoming battle will mostly proceed as planned. We just need to wait for the return journey. No, Lilith. Remember to check that. Zhao Chen squinted and spoke mysteriously. Lilith nodded firmly. We are already working on that, and there won't be any major data errors. That's good, Zhao Chun said with a slight smile. In just over 10 minutes, as Zhao Chun and Chu Xian predicted, losing command of 3 T2 Hive motherships greatly reduced the efficiency of the insect swarm attack. It was no longer as fierce as before. Report. We received news from asteroid P331. Over 5 million civilians have been safely evacuated, the female deputy officer excitedly reported to Chu Xian. Chu Xian let out a long breath. The crisis has finally been resolved. They can now withdraw with their achievements. As for the large number of hive motherships and insect swarms remaining, they will be left to the support fleet and the Lord fleet arriving later. Fortunately, this time the emergence was a second-level universe insect nest, and it didn't last long. If it had been a third-level universe insect nest, most of the Arctic Fox galaxy would probably have been affected. Chu Xian relaxed and said, she once saw a record of an insect race battle. A third-level universe insect nest appeared in a galaxy, and within a week, the entire galaxy was completely taken over, becoming a breeding ground for interstellar insect armies, which then produced tens or hundreds of times more insect fleets. After that, the Imperial fleet spent 3 or 4 months completely destroying these interstellar insects. The galaxy was abandoned and ignored for hundreds of years. Quickly contact the Black Dragon fleet and tell them we can withdraw from the battle, Commander Chu Xian said excitedly. But she soon stopped herself. She wanted to make the contact herself. For some reason, she was very curious about the Black Dragon fleet and that man. The communication request was sent, and the other side quickly agreed. Captain, we just received news that over 500,000 people on asteroid P331 have safely evacuated. We can also withdraw from the fight, Commander Chu Xian said. Zhao Chen nodded. He felt no emotion about this news because his system had just reminded him that the mission in this system was successfully completed. He hadn't had time to check, but Chu Xian had already sent a communication request. Zhao Chen decided to talk to her first because there was something very important he needed to discuss with Commander Chu. Captain, this time, thanks to your fleet. Chu Xian was about to chat more and learn about the other side. But Zhao Chen interrupted her again, without politeness. If it had been someone else, Chu Xian might have started to dislike them. Commander Chu Xian, I remember according to the Galactic Alliance's regulations, anyone involved in fighting the interstellar insect race who destroys the insects owns the spoils. Even if they can't recover the bodies now, they can record it, Zhao Chen asked. Chu Xian nodded. That's right. Zhao Chen immediately raised his hand, and a holographic display appeared, showing a clear list of numbers. He had killed 3 T2 motherships and over 70,000 T1 flying insects. He killed over 400 T2 stingers. Since we can't clear the battlefield right now, we can only wait until the Imperial fleet destroys these interstellar bugs before collecting the remains. Even if some of the bug bodies are eaten by their comrades, we can still preserve at least half of the remains. Based on our calculations, the salvage value is about 500,000 to 600,000 star coins. I want to save time, so I wonder if you, Commander, are willing to accept this batch of bug corpses directly, Zhao Chen said with a smile. Your starship also participated in this battle, so the combat recorder should be able to verify the number of enemies we destroyed. You're telling me all this? Just about that? Chu Xian was stunned. The battle just ended, and now he's talking about money? This made Chu Xian feel a bit disappointed with the tall, noble image she had of this man. But Zhao Chen didn't care about his image. He wanted money. He wanted to buy raw materials. He wanted to build starships. Captain, we can act as a third party to confirm what you're saying. I can also use my authority to approve directly. We will handle the collection of those bug remains. Chu Xian forced a smile and cheerfully offered to help. Zhao Chen then asked, when will the funds arrive? Chu Xian kept smiling. If you're in a hurry, we can use special channels to transfer the money within a day. To reward your fleet's excellent performance in this battle, I can increase the amount to 600,000 star coins. All right, thank you. I'll send you the account details now. Looking forward to our next cooperation. Goodbye. Zhao Chen immediately showed a bright smile and ended the call decisively before Chu Xian could speak. Chu Xian's expression stiffened. What's wrong with this guy? He didn't even give her a chance to reply. Is talking to her such a waste of time and so boring? No. I must meet this guy face to face. Chu Xian felt like a curious kitten whose curiosity was not satisfied. Just then, a message arrived from an account. Chu Xian looked at it, and her eyes lit up. She recognized the information on this account. The initial code indicates that it is a temporary account opened at the Arctic Fox starport. A temporary account means that the base of this Black Dragon fleet is likely at the Arctic Fox starport. Thinking about her posting the bounty mission and the fleet's arrival time, it seems they probably departed from the Arctic Fox starport. If needed, she can also confirm with the person in charge there to find out who accepted the bounty mission. Once the other Imperial fleet arrives to take over, we will go to the Arctic Fox starport. Chu Xian made a decision. She wanted to find this man. As for what she planned to do after finding him, she wasn't exactly sure. She just had a strange feeling about it. Right now, Zhao Chen had no idea he was being watched by an Imperial female officer. He was busy counting his small savings. 60,000 stars, plus the bounty from before and the extra reward from the Arctic Fox starport. This mission alone earned me 130,000 stars. Adding the 90,000 stars in my account, I now have a total of 220,000 stars, Zhao Chen muttered, sounding like a greedy person. With only 1 month left until the quarterly mission deadline and requirements to produce 3 types of starships from the system, Zhao Chen had completed 2/3, namely, the T2 Queen B-class heavy carrier and the T2 Hammer-class heavy industrial starship. There are no penalties for missing the quarterly mission, and the rewards are generous. Zhao Chen didn't want to waste this opportunity, so in the remaining month, He had to produce one more starship. First, check the system task I just completed. Zhao Chen opened the system interface in his mind. A long-awaited window appeared before his eyes.